Welcome to TTBoy TV. Today our special guest is one of the sweetest and the horniest and one of the best performers I know, and I know a lot. Please welcome Stunning Summer.
I appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
I'm not even sure if the horny or sweet was the topping. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here.
How you been?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Thank you for the nice weather.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a snowstorm. It's crazy, huh?
I left the East Coast for snow on the West Coast. Imagine that.
Oh, that's right. You just came into town?
I did. I've been here a week.
I'm
living in, we refer to it as the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Oh.
But I'm in Northern Virginia.
Oh, how do you like it?
I like it, but it's, no beaches, no real sun. So,
Really?
yeah.
It's like a haze.
It is a haze, and that has nothing to do with the U.S. government capital.
Yeah. Well, we're not going there. We'll be here forever, yeah.
Right.
So you work for my company, Evasive Angles.
I sure did.
Right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times.
I think you once told me that you filmed me more than almost anybody you knew.
Yeah? Did I?
Uh-huh.
Maybe. But I don't know if you know that with your help, we won the most downloaded movie of 2008.
I do know that.
So that's the #1 movie from AEBN, the biggest online company in those days. AEBN. And here's the award.
Yep. Awesome. I've never seen the award. I knew we won it. And I knew we were sitting in Vegas actually at the time when we got that word.
Because Jocelyn Stone was close to me that day. She was close, and you were in the same.
Jocelyn told me that too. Yeah. I think she told me before she told you, I think. But yeah. So she came running up going, oh my God. Oh. I was like.
Yeah. The title was I Fuck You and Your Mother.
Yep.
#1.
Yep. Made you have to do a second volume, huh?
No, we kept doing them. I'm the guy who invented Mothers and Daughters.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I think you worked with a girl named Kaylee Coxford or
Kaylee
I think Love Cox.
Kaylee Loves Cox, because I remember she had 2 different names, and I think that was when she was going under Kaylee Loves Cox at that time when she did that. And
Mark, do you work with Mark Anthony?
Mark Anthony, I think, was the director on that.
Oh.
But I shot with John on that scene.
That was John?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell me about the scene. How was it?
I went through all your guys, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so much fun. Like, I love working with Mark anyway. So I did several movies for you with Mark.
Mark directing, yeah.
Mark directing. Like, he's so easygoing and, just smiling. But I remember even the shoot, the house. You always have the best locations, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Clean porn houses. That's an amazing idea back then.
Yeah. We try to keep the production quality very high.
Absolutely.
Do you remember that scene? Was it?
I do remember that scene.
You were getting fucked good? I mean, was it great?
John fucked me in the ass, of course.
Yeah.
Like, I can't recall too many videos that I shot for you that I didn't take it up my ass.
Really? Yeah.
I really don't think I had. No.
You like anal sex?
I do. But I have suffered an injury, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it again. We'll see.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
What happened?
I shot a gangbang scene with a group of amateurs. That should say it all. But, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Bummer.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll see if I can heal up, and because I do like anal sex.
Yeah.
And we found out, I can squirt at the same time if I take it there. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Big squirts?
I'm like more of like the soaking wet dripping kind. I don't like, but I have shot myself in the face a few times before. So.
Wow. Is it like part of getting that G spot or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like if I'm riding, it's a whole new story. Then you just hear slosh.
Oh,
Slosh.
I got you. You're grinding your clit.
If I'm grinding, it's a done deal.
We're going to tell the people that don't know, I'm going to give you a little free information. Not you, but the people.
Right.
Now, if you know a girl's clit, you know, where it is, it's obvious if she sits down on your dick riding cowgirl, she can have the dick inside her pussy, obviously, and then also push down, and you can push up and help stimulate the clitoris. By going back and forth, it helps the girl reach orgasm a lot quicker. So that's your free advice. I'm not going to give you all the details about it. Some people might know. Some people probably don't know. But
no, because, I mean, even in the porn industry, I've heard people complain because they don't really understand squirt in the first place. So, oh, she's just peeing. It's like, no, that's not pee.
What is it? I mean, because I really still don't understand. Because,
so it's still an ejaculate.
Yeah?
Yeah. So
scientifically?
It still has, it's a woman's ejaculate. Because actually, like, an easy way for me is a finger with a hook or a dick with a hook, because there's a little button, the G spot, which is actually inside up underneath the clit. Mm-hmm. And if that's stimulated, that will make almost any girl squirt. Really? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't want to give everybody all the secrets, so.
Me either.
So that's anyway.
I'm just going to tell the guy, though, like, you know, if you're coming, you know, compact with knowledge.
Yeah. Even if the girl doesn't have the squirt, but even in that position, cowgirl, for so many women, if you take your time, rub it and fuck her good, she'll come.
Absolutely.
And it's really a big deal, I think.
I think it's huge.
Right, I mean.
And I think, you know, for most of you guys, don't you want her to come?
Yeah. Let's put it this way. For all the busters out there who are going to get off first and not let their woman get off first, you're not really a man. You're like a buster.
And who wants to come back for seconds after that? If I can't get off, you're not even on speed dial.
Right. You want to make sure the girl comes, and then maybe you can come.
And that's the best part. I think if you're really with the right partner, you know, because I've seen guys be able to come and come and come. Like, that's awesome. When you get that guy that can come a few times, that's...
What's the most you've seen? A guy come and come and come?
6-7 times.
Wow.
I've told people before, like, actually even my boyfriend, I've told him, like, you should be in porn.
But you know what? I've seen your pussy before. It's a very pretty pussy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, see?
Very, very pretty. So I'm wondering, because it's so pretty, and I'm guessing it's good, right? Do guys come quick?
A lot. Yeah.
Let's go back when you're young, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really young. When you're having sex, the guys just come real quick. You have that problem before?
Totally. Yeah. I think when I was younger, I used to date nothing but older guys. I think that was the reason, you know. I once dated a guy, and I think I even did this in an interview for one of your videos before. Lovely Jacob. But I once had a guy that thought he, you know, few drinks, few bong loads, thought he was in the pussy, and it was really the backseat of his Chevelle and my thigh. And I was like not about to bust his ego back then. I think we were like 17. So.
Wow, really?
Probably to this day, this guy's walking around going, yeah, you know, I fucked her. And you're like, no, it was my thigh in your backseat. Okay.
I heard stories like that before. That's embarrassing, right?
You know what? I won't. I would hate to kill some guy's ego. So,
but I'm saying when the guy did enter your vagina back in the day, they came quick.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What's the quickest?
I think I've had guys. actually even like not even make it in. Like I've had the guy before that just so excited. It's like, did you just shit on my thigh? So yeah, I've had the guy that came on the thigh before.
So basically,
didn't even enter.
But when they enter, then it's over. A lot of them?
No, I've had
A lot of times.
Yeah.
How many? 10, 20, 50 times, 100 times you've seen guys?
I would probably like say maybe 10.
10 times.
You know. Huh. But I mean, I've had guys that, you know what, all girls make the joke about the 2 pump chump.
Yeah.
You've got those guys too where.
But you know what? I have to defend some men in a certain way because not all women are created equal and not all men are created equal,
True.
obviously, right?
True.
So some women have magic boxes, magic walls,
Pandora's box.
You know, not only do you have the heat, you know, it could be fire, but the texture could be wet, slippery, and you go in deeper, you get it, it grabs you.
Yep.
And then the chemistry, you know,
chemistry's
the
everything.
chemistry, and then the buildup, right? All these factors and more. And when was the last time you got laid? So some men will be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," right?
All of it,
right? But
yeah,
that's part of life.
I dated a guy that used to try to like either chew gum or smoke a cigarette, you know, and it's like preoccupy the mind and like, I'm up to your tricks. I know what you're doing, but.
Well, I've been in this situation plenty of times as an actor, you know, because you can't come. You got to go 1, 2, 3 hours of sex. And sometimes run into a girl that's like, oh,
right.
Can't even look at her. She's so hot, right? And then she's got a good pussy and you're like, oh, no, oh my God, right? There was an actor who I worked with numerous times. You know, we did 3 ways with girls. Mark Wallace.
Yeah.
Right? So Mark Wallace was a very strong actor. And I liked him. And he would hit himself in the head, take his dick out, smash it against something, because he was a premature type of guy, right? And he was fighting always. I think he'd even jack off sometimes before a scene just so he wouldn't come.
Okay.
But, you know, anyways.
all the tricks that somebody, you know, they'll always ask like how we film it and stuff. And it's so funny because it's like, yeah, there's a few times that we've had to use the pina colada back in the day.
Because the guy came too quick.
I thought I would never drink another pina colada again for a long time back in the early 2000s.
You're giving up all the secrets.
Yeah, but now they use all the lubes and all that stuff, and it's like, nah, but.
Well, the pina colada sometimes was used because for 2 different reasons. Sometimes 3 different reasons, okay?
I was going to say.
Because basically you want stills to have a nice cum shot, so you take that and just put it in a little syringe and squirt it on the face, so it looks like, you know, cum.
Glisten.
So you take the still picture, so you have good stills on the back, even though the guy did a job and came, but by the time the scene is done, or the scene is almost done, the girl's, you know, sucking it or whatever's on her face and all that. By the time you got to take still pictures, the cum is dissolved sometimes.
Dried or, you know.
Dissolved, you know, in the clearness, or the guy had a shitty cum shot.
I was going to say, and some guys, you know, either they had clear cum or you're like, is that cum?
Yeah, right. Or,
you know,
clear cum, or they came in the middle of the scene.
Or it can't come.
We've
had that one too.
Yeah, right?
And you're like,
4 reasons.
Wait, she's dry now.
Yeah, they can't come. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
And you want to be a porn star.
Yeah. Oh, everybody thinks they could be a porn star. How many times have you seen, and she's in the Viagra age. You're not in the pre-Viagra age. If you're in the pre-Viagra age, you know, I don't know. But tell me, how many guys have you been working with that couldn't come, had a soft dick, or just had problems?
A lot. And especially, you know, since I started to shoot some amateur stuff, like, yeah, when you're going from what we did on the West Coast to what's going on the East Coast, big difference. You know, everybody watches porn and then they think they're a porn star. It's like, okay, I go to a restaurant too, but I wouldn't try to open up a restaurant.
Right.
So
Well,
that's what's going on right now.
You see, if you're ever at a boxing match, right? Mm-hmm. You see the guys in the audience, you're a bum,
You pussy.
Hit him with that punch. You suck. Like they could do it better. Go ahead and get in that ring.
When you get punched in the face, and trust me, I mean, I used to box, you know, I taught people how to box. It's a whole different story when you're the one on the receiving end taking a glove to the face.
Right, not just one punch, but numerous.
Yeah, over and over.
Yeah, and you're trying to punch him, and you're tired sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's, you know, it's the same. It's not easy.
No, it always looks easy on film. You know, when you're watching it and you're like, oh, I could fuck that girl better. Da, 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 da. You know.
Yeah, for sure. But we put you with some pretty good guys, right?
Amazing guys. Charlie Mack.
Charlie Mack's the man, right?
Jay Strokes, one of my favorites.
Jay Strokes, I like Jay Strokes.
We brought a brand new sofa.
Yeah?
First shoot out. Sofa still had a tag on it.
Yeah, I got to get Jay Strokes on here. Jay Strokes is great.
I love him. He was the sweetest guy, I think.
Nice guy. Very good guy. Yeah, he was
Has
good.
like 5 kids.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure the girls, I mean, you know, he was a nice guy, good looking kid, so I think
was a
that
very
the girls
good-looking kid too.
must have loved him, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was good, yeah. Charlie and Jay, they're very good. Nathan Threat was good. I mean, there's just some guys
Nathan's a great guy.
we used a lot, yeah. And then, of course, Max Black at the beginning, but you didn't work with him, I don't think.
I don't think so. I remember he first shot for you, I think. I think you were one of his first companies.
Max?
I think.
Yeah. And then, of course, Mark Anthony, you know, he's professional.
Always.
Is there any scenes from Evasive Angles that stand out that you can remember off the top of your head?
Like I said, like the scene with Jay Strokes is one of my favorite, but it was like, I think that's one of the first scenes that we shot anal and squirt. Just, I drenched Mark and Jacob right off the bat. Like it was like,
oh, you squirted.
They were like, okay, wait, stop. Like, okay. and I think my fans like that scene more because everybody's like, I want you to be my teacher. I want you to make me mow your lawn. And I'm like, okay, sure.
Right. What movie is that? Which time?
That was Desperate Moms.
Is there Mothers and Wives?
Yeah.
I
think 8.
Number 8?
I think it was 8.
Let's see, because I think you sent me it, right?
I think so. Because I think Jocelyn and I are on the front on that one.
There you are. She has panties on, so don't anybody get crazy.
That was a hot scene.
Well, you guys did on the cover a couple movies together, huh?
We did a lot of movies together.
She's cool. You ever
She's
talk
my
to her?
girl. Oh my God, she's my girl.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to get her number. I need you to, or you call her from. I want to get her on the show too. She was cool.
Absolutely. I'll
was
call
great.
her.
Anyway,
Harry Bush and all.
huh? Oh yeah.
Harry Bush and all.
That Harry Bush is great, right?
Paid her bills, I think.
I watched porno in the old days. I love the Harry Bushes, you know, in the 70s and 80s. It was
It's so funny when you see, like, you know, young girls now are bringing the bush back. So,
really?
yeah, I've seen a few girls that shot for black.com they got bushes. And I'm like, wow, okay, we're bringing it back.
I love it. How many movies have you done?
DVD wise, I think it was like somewhere around 60 something, but scene wise, I think, because again, I've outlived most of the websites that I was ever on. It was over 100 something.
What year did you start?
Video wise, 06. Magazine
06.
stuff I did in like 04, 05.
Are you still working?
I am.
Yeah. So you got 14 years, you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Like actually pretty close. Yeah.
So you're a professional.
They might give me my pro card.
Yeah, right. Journeyman, right? Or masters. How'd you get your stage name?
So everybody's going to laugh. So originally I had picked Summer for the boys of Summer because I'm a baseball fan and I'm a Dodger girl.
And that's the name I always knew you by, Summer.
Originally.
So when did you change it?
Sitting in your office filling out a form that I said the reason why I shot porn was to have my own website one day. So when I'm 90 years old, I still have a paycheck. But I said, if you Google Summer, I wasn't really popping up amongst millions of other things, including gay porn and all that. So my email was Stunning Summer. So when I'm filling out the form the day in your office in Chatsworth, and I was like, well, shoot, I might as well just Stunning Summer. And I had people tell me before, oh, you can't go by that name. You need to have like Summer Wild or this and that. I'm like, it's porn. Why are there rules? And here it is. And I've had people try to copycat off of Stunning Summer.
Wow, you know what? I didn't know that. So we didn't put the full name up there, right? Or is it
only the first 2 DVDs say Summer because again, I didn't do Stunning Summer then, but Stunning Summer came up even when you guys did the All Star.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Which, by the way, thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we made a big butt All Star, and people like it, right?
They did, absolutely.
Because she's got a big butt. Yeah, you seem to me like you're an athlete, or you were an athlete, or
yeah,
right?
Played college softball, bodybuild since I was 12. So, yeah.
Bodybuild, huh? I'm gonna ask more questions about that later. But well, I'm gonna ask right now. Did you have sex in a gym before?
Yeah.
But I mean, just
a couple times.
Did you ever have sex in a gym around the corner when people were actually working out?
Yeah, kind of like in the back room of the gym I worked at. Yeah.
Yeah. That you worked at, and who'd you fuck?
A very tall redhead guy in Chatsworth. But yeah,
Chatsworth?
He was a teacher too, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of those guys that was like, "Hey, I got a big dick. Want to see?" Oh, sure.
He said that to you?
He sure did.
How long ago?
I mean, I knew the guy for a while before, you know. Yeah, I took it for a spin.
He knew you were in porno? It was before porn?
It was before porn, but that particular gym is how it all started.
Wow, well, hold that. Mm-hmm. Really, huh?
Yeah.
So you just said, hey, he said, I want to see your,
he was
here's
a very
my
good
dick.
looking guy, yeah.
He's a very good looking guy. And,
yeah, we'd always make jokes anyway, because again, the big legs and the big ass. And
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's wonderful, right? I mean, for me, that's like cool, you know what I mean?
Right? And that's why now it's like, hey, I need a real shoot in a gym. So,
so one time like that? Or
no, I think like 2-3 times.
Just spontaneous somebody strange? Or
People I know. Yeah.
But that one was totally...
That one, it was somebody that I knew, and we were always joking around in the gym. You know, I was a trainer at the time anyway, so he'd come up and make funny little suggestive comments, and I'm a smart ass. So, you know, but it was one of those, you know, I think I made a comment about his height anyway, and we made the joke, does the hands and feet match, you know? And he told me, yeah, I could show you my dick. It's big, you know, which I will say, yeah, gingers have ginger. Yeah, he was a real redhead.
How big was his dick?
It was pretty big. I would say it was probably about a 10-inch dick.
Yeah.
He was like 6'5", I think. So
that's cool. I mean, just for me, the thought, right? You're working out in the gym, you're talking back and forth. Because I've seen pretty girls in the gym, and they never said that to me. You know what I mean? Right, so I'm thinking like you're back and forth talking, and she says, "Yeah, well," and then you go around the corner.
There's a back room in that particular gym, that, you know, utility room or whatever.
I mean, that's exciting for me. That's like really
it's
like
cool, because you hear all the machines going, the racquetball courts, all that.
Heart's pumping.
Yeah, literally.
It's kind of sneaky, you know.
And you're like, you know, hopefully nobody walks in, but if they do, wow, you know, it's kind of like that Mile High Club thing.
I love it. I mean, that's beautiful. You know, I'm all about sex, so.
As you should be. It would be horrible to own a company and not like sex. That'd be off the wall, actually.
Well, a lot of people actually, I think, we're not real pornographers. That's why, way back, in case you don't know, and probably most people don't know, that John Stagliano, right, knew that a lot of the performers, the good performers, were into sex.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he knew that a lot of the company owners didn't really give a fuck.
Right.
That's the way it was. So you just make the movie, you know, 5 scenes, little dialogue, you know, a kind of crazy, stupid script or a good script, whatever. And then he said, no, man, let's make these, you know, gonzos.
Right.
And the guys are into sex.
He was the king of gonzo, created it.
Yeah, king, yeah, for sure. But he gave them a cut of it.
Did he really?
That is why, one of the reasons he did so well, because the actors got a cut. They made their own movie, and they got a percentage of the sales, a big percentage.
Wow.
So it's just like, you know, let's say Dr. Dre has his own label. And he's going through a company. I think it's similar. So you have your own label type, you know what I mean? From the movies, you know. So Rocco and Joey Silvera.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Rocco, I think, was the first guy that got a deal.
Oh, wow.
That's about 1994, I think. Just
wow.
to let you know.
Because that's why, like, everybody thinks that we all get a cut of the film and stuff. And you're like, no. In fact, actually, you know, AEBN and Hot Movies and all that stuff, I get a little tidbit from that only because I have an affiliate through them. But again, it's like, okay, well, if I made all these movies and some Joe Blow who's a fan owns a website or a blog is actually getting paid off my films, I might as well get paid off my films. So
yeah, I
sold some games, so tip me.
Yeah. So that was, you know, I think it's actually 95, 96. My timing's probably off a little bit for Rocco, but that's how it started. So
okay,
with that,
that's
the
interesting.
movies became more prideful because, you know, if you did a good movie, but each actor paid for their movie, all the production.
Okay.
Who got a deal, who were lucky enough to get a deal, which is only a small amount, but he started that trend.
Okay.
In must have been 95.
Okay.
But Rocco was first. Rocco's great, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I like his work actually.
Yeah, Rocco's great. That's it. You can't say much more than that. I mean, he's just great, you know?
No. And Joey too. Like,
oh yeah, Joey's a pornographer. I mean, you know,
for real
pornographer. And he's,
but see, and I'm glad that you use that terminology because again, I keep saying the same thing as everybody says porn or porno or whatever, but pornography, the real art form is gone. Like, yeah. So when I hear pornographer, I'm like, it warms my heart actually.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of psychology into good pornography.
Absolutely.
In my movies, I had a lot of psychology in a lot of the titles. Sometimes they're simple, but sometimes they're intricate. You know, the ideas were even though the dialogue was simple, the idea was more complicated or more, you know, sophisticated, more artistic. Anyways.
Put a twist. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of twist all over my movies. So that's how you got your stage name.
That is how I got the stage name.
In my office.
Sitting in your office.
That's cool. What is your favorite sex act? You know, sucking dick, getting fucked.
I would probably say I actually like sucking dick, which is why I think, you know, men have always enjoyed the way I give head. But, you know, I think you got to like it. It goes with anything in sex anyway, you know, but you can always, you know, women don't get with the active oral sex. And I guess it's the same way for a guy eating pussy or whatever. But when it's your control of how a man's going to orgasm or whether I'm going to let you orgasm or not, or, you know, all of that, you know, which of course now they have a name to that too, but you know.
What is it?
Well, they're like, they have, I'm trying to think what they're like, instead of having a man hold out or whatever, I can't even think of the name of it now. It's so silly because it's just like, I'm not going to let you come, you know, well, I'll let your toes curl a little bit, but I think that makes your orgasm better. You know, again, trying to not have the guy blow off in 30 seconds. Cause if I wanted you to come, I could make you come. Guys love head, right?
I'm different. I like pussy, but most guys like head.
Yeah. He said I'm different.
so you like to have the power to?
I do like have the power, you know, but so many different dicks, so many different ways to come. Again, not all dicks are created equal. So, you know, some guys like to just have the tip of their dick sucked, and other guys want their whole shaft done. And, you know, deep throat's a whole new control freak thing anyway, you know.
Can you give an example how you would, how you might do it?
The microphone.
Yeah, just in front of the camera.
No, but you know, I mean, some guys even want the no hand thing, but you know, if you're, you know, you find that real perfect pressure on the shaft.
Where in the shaft?
And like, I'll grab the base of the dick, you know, and you can feel that vein, and there's the control right there. That's like playing the video game, you know. Uh-huh. So if you can feel the pressure, And you start to experiment to see, where the eyeballs start to roll back. You can find out if the guy really is like don't mess with the shaft. I like it up at the head, and you're working your mouth up and down the shaft to figure out where he's at first. It's kind of like hugging somebody. Let me see where your sensitive spot is. And then once I know your sensitive spot, we're not playing there for too long so you don't come, Again, the psychology behind sex that a lot of women just don't get or don't care. I don't know.
So you talk to him too?
Not with my mouth full, but body language is everything. So, and again, I'm a personal trainer, so I know about kinesiology and body function anyway, which is always what helped me in the adult industry. But, if you can tell the body language, like I said, if the guy's toes start to curl and the eyes start to flutter, you hit that spot. It's like the girl with the G spot. So
basically you're telling me that a lot of guys have different spots?
Absolutely. Some guys just like the head of their dick. They're sensitive up at the head. Other guys really like the shaft. And those are the guys that you see jerking off and they never touch the head that, because even for me, I always thought like, hey, you got to go up the whole shaft to the head. And then when I really started playing around, then they were like, oh, wait, okay. So.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Is there any common denominators? Like a common zone or a common area that most guys,
Balls. It seems to be, especially now, like guys are like, oh, suck my balls. Okay. Why not?
What was the biggest balls you ever seen?
I have seen some elephantitis looking balls
Show
before.
me.
Like, yeah.
Show it like that.
Like grapefruit. What a grapefruit would look like, And there's a condition though. Yeah.
Grapefruit?
It's pretty much the size of a grapefruit.
Wow.
Per
ball.
But no, that would be like both of them together was like, like a grapefruit, but there is a condition. So hopefully none of you guys all have that, but.
What is that condition?
I don't actually even remember what it's called, but they've even actually had the one guy that he was on some reality show that the poor guy had to have a hoodie to wear as pants to cover up the balls. Like, yeah, crazy. See, now you're going to be Googling later.
What was it? Oh, it'll be on.
It's on a. I think that poor guy had passed away, but he had like his balls were literally all the way down to his feet.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
really?
it's crazy.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Crazy.
Well, he's learned something.
He's like grabbing his balls, going, "Oh my God, sweet baby Jesus."
I got small balls. I don't feel like I got small balls.
Especially compared to something with the elephantitis looking thing.
Yeah. So you like sucking dick. You like your pussy licked?
I love my pussy licked.
Yeah?
If a guy can't eat pussy, that's another one of those. He's out of here.
Really?
That doesn't even get to the 3 strike zone.
Wow, really?
Because again, it goes like most women are going to orgasm if again, that's like part of pre-sex, like appetizer before the dinner, main course.
You're right. Yeah. What?
Over dinner, that should be the discussion. I'm sorry, do you eat pussy?
Do you come better with anal sex or pussy sex?
I can do either. Anal sex, like I said, like if it's the right dick and it's the right stroke, I'll squirt even with anal sex. But again, you're still hitting towards, women don't really have a prostate like men, but it's similar to like a prostate. Mm-hmm. So that's what makes a woman ejaculate, squirt. So it's kind of almost in the same spot as where your prostate is.
What's the biggest dick you've ever seen? Show me with your hands.
Oh, I'm gonna say like a Lexington steel size, 14-ish, 15-ish. Yeah.
So some people out there, because they look at Google and like Google really knows. Google doesn't know.
Google only has the information that is put in the system.
Right. So they say, oh, no, there's only dicks. They're 9. The biggest recorded dick is 10.5 inches.
Lie. My DMs and Instagram show me more than that.
I mean, that's ridiculous for anybody to say that.
Because didn't we have, like, Mr. 18-inch? He was really 18 inches. I remember watching a video of him one time, and it was hilarious because 3 women were, like, chomping on his dick like corn on the cob. Like, if you could put 3 faces side to side, that is not a 9-inch dick.
Yeah. So let's make it clear to the public. There are dicks out there so fucking big.
That they don't get hard.
Yeah, they don't get hard, but they're so big. They're way bigger than 12, 13, 14 inches, way bigger.
Yep.
And that is a fact.
And some of us girls call those things like a 1 or 2 hand backstop. Like, you don't even want that guy to be pounding on your pussy with that much.
Yeah,
like,
right.
He's going to bend. And then we get back into the broken dick syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people, yeah. I think that it's true. Mm-hmm. I know some guys in the business probably injected their dicks and then they broke their dicks or whatever. But yeah, I've heard 2 or 3 stories of guys breaking their dick. Yep. The dick's too long.
And it's still cartilage too. Like, you know, I mean, I know somebody, I don't want to throw his name out there, but I know somebody who we were supposed to shoot a scene and he was like, Summer, I broke my dick. I got to let it heal first, which is like cartilage. So, you know, because again, you hit that cervix, that's like hitting a wall. And it doesn't feel good on the other side either, by the way. So when somebody hits your cervix too hard, it's kind of like the same as you guys getting kicked in the balls. So even for a woman, you're like, oh God, that hurt.
No, I mean, I think the guys could hurt their dick that way, but I think they also could hurt their dick in some positions if the dick goes out all the way and it comes back and doesn't hit the hole.
Yeah. Oh no, you've hit that taint.
You've
hit that taint and, you know, he breaks the dick and you're bruised up and.
Especially cowgirl. Something like that. That could be
cowgirl seems to be the one that I think most guys have broke their dick. Yeah. Because again, he's trying to come up and you're trying to come down at the same time. That's like synchronized swimming. And if it's not coordinated correctly, you know, it's like casing it on a BMX bike. I can say I've been there and done that before where you know, you're coming down and he's coming up and it kind of pop and you're like, oh damn, that hurt.
But have you seen a broken dick?
I have seen a picture of a broken dick.
See, it's crazy.
And he put it on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
He did?
He did.
Wow. How many broken dicks have you heard of? I think I heard of 2.
I know of 3.
Okay.
And I know one who broke it twice, but yeah.
I would just, because in my day, you know, there was no Viagra, no nothing, you know, right. So I don't know. Maybe the dicks weren't getting that hard or something. I know my dick was hard. My dick wouldn't break, but maybe the Caverjet or the stuff breaks their dicks.
The Caverjet is, you know, and a lot of people don't understand. And I dated baseball players. They take that too, by the way.
For what?
And that stuff does work.
For
by the
what?
way. So it keeps their dick up hard, you know, but it goes into the same thing as like Viagra. Sometimes that shit might stay up for 24 hours. You know, go ahead and you really want to have all the blood flow in your dick for 24 hours? That's crazy to me, but you know, but Viagra and all this stuff does the same thing. It actually prolonged use weakens the blood vessels. So that's how when they break.
Oh, really? Whoa. So the Caverjet and Viagra weakens the blood vessels, making it easier to break, making it flimsy.
And so what do you think, like, even like what it does is it's bringing so much blood flow into the dick that's why they tell you about having heart conditions, because it's changing your blood flow. Yeah. So that's like having too much blood pumping into that area. It's still eventually going to put extra wear and tear on the small blood vessels. Those blood vessels aren't that big.
But if you don't mind, I would say that when I worked, I sometimes used to work so much as an actor, right? Mm-hmm. And it would make my dick stronger because I'd be working, exercising.
Yeah, because it's a muscle. Yeah.
So, but I wasn't taking anything, you know what I mean? So
I don't know why, guys. You know, I can only form my own opinion, is a fact, again, when you guys all came into the industry, and I talked to Lex about this before, is even when he came into the industry, And what we used to do in the industry was if a guy wanted to be a porn star, you had to start out on blow bangs and bukkake type stuff and prove that you could keep your dick hard in a room full of people, you know, hot lights. You know, people don't understand what it's like to be in a small room with 2 or 3 hot lights and you got to keep your dick hard. And maybe with a chick that you might not even be all that turned on about. And hey, welcome to porn 101, you know? And these guys now are like, hey, you know, I don't take Viagra. Then you find a half a blue pill on the set, you know? Oh, you don't?
I heard stories of guys taking 4 or 5 pills.
And those are the ones later with the broken dick?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've heard, you know? Crazy stories.
Right?
You know? Anyways, so what is your favorite position, your preferred position?
Now people are going to laugh that Summer's going to say this. I like reverse cowgirl because then I know that my ass in your face is still one of those things that guys are like, oh my God, because it's like doggy. But you can't have messed up feet either. Like if you got turf toe, then go ahead, wear the socks. But I'm not all about the socks either. But I don't want to look at a guy's skanky looking feet. But I do like reverse cowgirl. But again, it's the same thing as if I'm grinding and he doesn't even necessarily have to have a curve then, and I'm going to come like crazy.
So in reverse you can come too?
I can totally come in reverse. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I would just grab the clit and rub it while you're in that position. But is that what you're saying, or you just can come?
But I like to grind. So, you know.
But in reverse, but how are, so you're...
Yeah, because you can still reverse and then, you know.
I see, you're all the way
so
down.
you actually can still hit, your pubic bone is kind of hitting my pubic bone and...
I got you. Yeah,
and if you ride in the right position, you know, but also he can't have a 3-inch dick because that won't work. But but then neither does reverse or doggy either. So,
well, what is your favorite size of a dick?
I think I still like an 8 or a 9. 10 is good. Something too big, like guys are always like, yeah, I got a big dick. But, okay, but now you can't really go in and out. If you got a 14-inch dick, I like the stroke. I want a guy to be able to stroke.
You know, my own personal experience having a dick, you know, that I've seen girls get worn out from me. You know what I mean? And I'm probably 8.5 inches. 9 inches, 8 to 9 inches, whatever day you're talking about.
But that's what I said. The stroke is more of where I'm going to come.
But I can't imagine having a monster dick. The girls, you wouldn't be able to fuck your girl very much because she'd be sore or hurt or, you know.
Limping.
Yeah. I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And then, like I said, like if you're beaten up on, you know, because then it goes into the same thing where, you know, guys are all like, yeah, I want to kill the pussy. And you're like, no, I don't want you to kill the pussy.
That's me. I want to kill the pussy. I get the engine.
She wants to live. She wants to see another day, you know. Because again, like I would prefer to say like, hey, you know what? I want to fuck all day long sometimes. But if you go out and kill the pussy, then it's like, well, now I need a bag of ice first.
I'm guessing if you have a big monster dick and you want to fuck all day, you got to go so slow and so easy that you really can't give everything you want to give as a male. You know what I mean?
I would think like, you know, even with some of the guys that I've shot with that are huge, you know, even like with Charlie Mack and those guys, like, but they know how to fuck. So you're still getting a good stroke game and you're big, you know, but they're not just like straight out the gate. Yeah, let me go ahead and ram this shit in. And you're like, okay, well, now you just broke one of my blood vessels.
Who's the biggest dick you worked with in porn? Who had the biggest dick?
I was going to say like, well, shoot, you know, it depends on what way you call big, because again, you know, 14-inch dicks, then I would say, you know, Richard Mann, you know, but then I would also say Shorty Matt, the Coke can, Shane Diesel, you know, who's not only long, but he's also wide. Like that literally is probably the huge dick. Yeah. Black Zilla.
Show him how thick it was.
Shane's about like that.
So almost like that cup.
That is pretty much, yeah.
He's got a coffee cup dick.
He's got a coffee cup dick. Because Shorty Mac let me know that he could measure to a Coke can.
Oh, yeah?
You know, because people will go, I can't believe you took that in your ass. And I'm like, I literally fucked him 2 times in 3 days. I had a day in between 2 scenes with him.
Shorty Mac's cool. I like a nice guy.
He was a very nice guy. And shorter than me.
You know, and he's very short. Almost cursed with shortness, but he got something back out of the deal.
As I said, tripod.
Big dick.
He's like a tripod.
So God bless him.
Dick is as big as his leg.
Today, you know, compared to when we grew up, is a much different time, right? So it's such a strange when you talk this. Every word you say can and will be used against you.
Completely.
Right? It's like
screenshotted.
Yeah, you're in a court case all day long, right? So what is your gender choice, first choice of gender for sex?
To have sex with?
Yeah.
A man all day.
Okay.
A man all day. I tell people all this time, everybody thinks like, you know, oh, you must be a lesbian. No, I play one on TV. Like I have filmed a lot of girl stuff, but you know, women are beautiful. And again, it's part of why I became a personal trainer and a bodybuilder anyways. A woman's body form is beautiful. But I love men. I loved it like all day. All day.
Good. I mean, I'm old fashioned. You know what I mean?
Me too. Like I'm a feminist, and I've been told that too. How can you be a feminist in the porn industry? That's another whole ball of wax. But you know, one, I thought after the sexual revolution that women were allowed to decide how they love to have sex. You know, how more feminism can you get? And I'm not exploited. I pick and choose who I'm gonna fuck, how I'm gonna fuck, when I'm gonna fuck. You know, I'm not the housewife and doing my wifely duty to lay my husband once in a while. You know, I think that's a great feminist idea. So that's where I disparage with the old school feminist when it comes to feeling like sex workers are abused and, you know, seems to be the new genre in going after the sex industry that we're all exploited. No.
I mean, I've stated this before, and I feel strongly about it. If you were going to tell me when I was looking at porno, you know, dreaming about porno,
fantasizing,
fantasize. Oh, I could fuck that girl, be with that girl. Oh my God, some of those girls I was looking at when I'm younger, just dreaming, right? And then you were telling me that no, basically you're going to be a sex worker, not a porn star, but a sex worker.
Yeah,
I would be like.
And everybody's a sex worker now. Everybody's a sex worker now.
No, it's not a sex worker.
You know, but everything is human trafficking now too. And I'm like, know the difference between human trafficking and pornography and stripping, and it's all just blanket covered. You know, they're gonna just try to make us all feel bad about sex again. We're gonna go back there again. Next thing you know, I'll be wearing a Victorian dress up to here, and you won't see anything but my face. How about that?
And my heart will be breaking.
Mine too.
Well, right, yeah. No, I mean, you know, I don't agree with that idea. For me, a porn star, especially when you're in dialogue, you're like a movie star. You know, and it's something beautiful and pretty. It's not a sex worker, because when you say sex worker, it's almost...
It sounds dirty, and they're trying to make it dirty.
Demoralizing.
And sex isn't dirty, by the way. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. You know, masturbation is not dirty, but Americans have put a ugly taboo thing to something that is natural and comes natural. Yeah. Animals masturbate, like.
But it's demoralizing to say you're a sex worker, I think, compared to a movie star.
Oh no, absolutely. You know, but again, everybody wants to call themselves a porn star nowadays too, and it's like we didn't even call ourselves porn stars then, because I felt like, you know, Jenna or Tara. Those are porn stars. Christy Canyon, those are porn stars.
Ginger Lynn. Seika.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Vanessa Del Rio.
Oh, Vanessa's the, you know. And then I know people in New York who go, oh, I met her at a swing place. And I'm like, how lucky were you? I know about 1 million men who would have died to have had that experience with Vanessa Del Rio. So.
the last guy I had on here, his name was Tony Martino.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. Remember him from the days?
Yep.
And he fucked Vanessa. He told me about it.
See, and I said I'm not a lesbian, but I would fuck Vanessa Del Rio.
Yeah, she looked hot, right?
All that. And she's still a pretty woman. She got those big old giant boobs.
Big clit, big monster clit.
That too.
So she's going to have good orgasms. Truth is,
Hey, Kevin.
I've seen a lot of those clits, you know. Yeah. People don't know. I've seen a lot of those clits.
Right?
Guess where?
Up close and personal.
No. Guess where?
Where?
Brazil.
Oh.
Seen a lot of humongous clits, and I've shot all over the world.
Right.
In Brazil.
Well, and I will say, you know, and again, that was the bodybuilding industry. When women are taking Deca and Winstrol and all that, makes your clit grow.
Does it grow back or it stays there?
No, I know some women who have had it clipped.
Whoa, really?
Because it will grow to be the size of a dick. Yeah.
I've seen the clits and are shaped just like dicks.
They are, yeah. Well, I mean, even if you look at, I mean, my clit is still somewhat big, but it's not like that. But, you know, it's a button, you know. But when I was doing the steroids, even bodybuilding, you know, I was trying to make sure I didn't go too far.
I've seen clits have a shaft and a head.
Yeah.
Right, that long, maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, maybe 1.5 inches maximum, but with a head. And I would tell the actor, suck that dick.
Did they?
You know what I mean? As a camera.
No, we're going back again, you know. Okay, so it's a female dick with a female ejaculation. How about that?
Yeah, it wasn't ejaculating, but you know. All right, let's go back a little ways. Where did you grow up?
The Valley. Wow. I'm a Valley girl.
Really?
Literally, that age.
Oh my God.
Aquanet and all. Oh my God.
Totally gagged me with the spoon.
The Sherman Oaks Galleria was still a Galleria back then.
That place was bomb, right?
Yep.
I went there.
Cruising Van Nuys Boulevard. Oh yeah. And when that got shut down, you went to Balboa Park to party. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So it was yeah. Anybody remember the movie called Valley Girls? You know, you hear that lingo, the Valley lingo, San Fernando Valley, which is posted on these maps, is where the porn capital of the world is, was, probably still is.
Probably still is.
But you had that rich, I don't know what you want to call it, rich.
Yuppie-ish before yuppies were.
Yeah, but that rich culture of the 80s in the Valley.
God. Oh no, absolutely. And you know, my ex-husband was a rock star or whatever and played all the clubs, but you know, we had all the clubs and Ventura Boulevard and Country Club out in Reseda, all that.
Uh-huh. But just that, so a lot of hairspray, you're saying?
I'm surprised I still have hair. Yeah, Aquanet. And every girl from the 80s will tell you, because, you know, I used to smoke back then too, though.
Smoke?
You know, you know.
Oh, cigarettes.
Oh, no, I smoke weed too, but, you know. But, you know, you're sitting there and you're blow drying your hair and you got to watch out because one small match, your hair could go up in flames. Aquanet was flammable.
Oh, yeah?
And we all had that.
I used to spray spiders with it. And flame, of course. Flame, you know.
The flame, yep.
Right. For me, when you see those, you know, the movie with Nicolas Cage, right? Nicolas Cage, Valley Girl.
He was in Valley Girl.
You just, I don't know, there's something about the way they are. They're different almost than so many other girls in America, right?
We created a trend,
right.
You know.
They seem
and
so...
then you think about the Go-Go's and all that stuff back then. Yeah.
Incredible, right? The Go-Go's.
That's one of my favorite bands back then, too. I love them. Yeah.
But they had something about the way they were walking and talking. You were like, oh, right? They just so...
Yeah. We definitely had you been crawling on your hands and knees back in the day.
Right.
You know, we were all wearing designer jeans. You know, designer jeans came out.
Jordache,
Shemenda Furs. We had, nobody even knows that, but that was the greatest brand for women with big asses, by the way.
And then they had the zip ones that zipped all the way around, remember?
Yeah, I had those too. Yeah.
Dolphin shorts.
Okay, so the dolphin short. My first stripper I worked at came off of softball practice, and my girlfriend's like, oh, you know, you need extra money. You should just go to work at this bar, da-da-da-da-da. I went in with a baby doll white t-shirt and I had no boobs and the dolphin shorts. The guy said, "You're hired and I want you to wear that every day."
Right.
Yeah. I made $1,000 a day as a cocktail waitress in a strip bar. I made more money than strippers.
$1,000. What year was this?
It would have been 1982.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
And I didn't even know the game back then. If I knew the game and if I had the knowledge and that body back then, oh shit.
Did you send me a picture of that year?
I wish I had that. I don't. Okay. No, man.
So you were hot because that fat pussy you probably pulled up your shorts or jeans and probably the pussy was sticking out and probably the guys were like this.
But you remember the dolphin shorts had built-in panties. So yeah, that was it. But my ass was always big. So the ass and the thighs.
But you had a fat pussy too. So you had a big fat pussy and a big ass.
Yeah, we invented the camel toe back then too, I think.
I mean, I used to look at the camel toe and the girls, I'd go like this, and I would be like, fuck. I'd be like, done. You know, I couldn't even like.
I remember going, my father, when I was even young, going, "You're not going out the door dressed like that." You're like, "What? I'm fully dressed." Like, didn't realize a camel toe was like hanging out.
You didn't realize it?
Or not really, unless like you really have a full-fledged wedgie. You're not realizing, but when you have a fat pussy too, that's the problem. Like, there's no way to hide it. Like, what am I supposed to wear if? Yeah. But
I have to ask you this question: did you ever see guys staring, especially in a bikini or something, staring at your pussy?
All day.
Yeah,
all day.
And
that in the butt, though. That in the butt.
But how does it make you feel when they're staring at the pussy? Because they're looking right at you.
I just it was funny because my girlfriend growing up had big boobs already. Like, by the time we were in 6th grade, she already had double D's. And she said, "Guys never look at my face." And I'm like, "Well, join the club. The eye sets go down and yours goes up." But, I know exactly what guys don't know what you look like because they're just like, "Hey, can I get your number?" Yeah. But then again, back then we can give them some crazy number and never see him again. Now, you give a guy a fake number and he goes, "Wait, let me put you on my phone."
Right. Can't call you right now.
Can't pull that off anymore.
Those were the good days. So what kind of girl were you growing up? Were you a good girl?
I was like a tomboyish, but I mean, like, all my friends came from different backgrounds. So I hung out with kids that were in sports, hung out with all the people that never went to class and got high and all that. Like, I did that too. Like, yeah. I wasn't really bad, but I could put down a couple bottles of TJ Swan and stepping back. Yeah, all that.
Mickey's Big Mouth?
Mickey's Big Mouth, yep.
Boonesbury?
And I actually could, and again, I grew up in the northern part of the valley. So at 16, 17, I could still buy alcohol. Like, it's crazy.
How?
Those dolphin shorts.
Really?
I very seldom would ever get carded. I would go in and buy beer and wine and have no problem.
So you're natural blonde?
My hair used to be like a medium brown, and then during the summer turned major gold. Right. So I never really dyed my hair until I was probably like maybe 19 or 20. But
because the 80s is the years of blonde.
Yeah.
Blonde ambition.
Yeah. Well, and then my hair was cut kind of like Stevie Nicks back then too. So
feathered,
thick and full and all that.
Yeah, she's a great singer.
See, I couldn't send you the picture because I was probably 16 at the time, but I'll show you what I looked like when I was like 16 with all that hair.
So were you good in school?
Yes and no. I have hurled many offenses to go smoke and all that. So
you're a little bit of a stoner.
A little bit. We would go out. And, I was telling a story the other day because we were wearing overalls back then with tube tops. You remember those days?
Of course.
And I remember one time we were running for it, and the counselors were following us, and I could hurdle a fence really good, by the way. But I hit that fence, and went up over, and the bib got stuck, hanging by the bib. My girlfriend had to come, jump back up on the fence, and kind of help lift up so I could pop the top and pop up off that fence. Still outrun the
counselors. Yeah.
Counselors.
You were high? You had something on you?
No, we were about to go smoke. So yeah, we definitely had weed on us, but you're dumb as a kid and you don't realize that they know exactly who you are. So get home and you get the ass whooping of a lifetime of going, hey, how was school today? And you're like, it was great.
If the school catches you with weed back in those days.
Oh, it was a done deal. But see, I got one for you too, though, is that I got caught actually with weed. My parents took me to the police department. That's parents I grew up with.
So they were
Didn't
strict.
stop me, though.
Oh, yeah? You kept smoking? How old were you the first time you smoked?
I think it was 14, 15 when I got caught with the weed at that point.
No, but when the first time you smoked, how old were you?
Because I was smoking cigarettes by the time I was 12 or 13 or whatever. But I think probably like 13 maybe. Yeah. But like my girlfriend's sister was like a total Janis Joplin type wannabe. So we were around all that stuff growing up. And I think my girlfriend would always be like, hey, we got, want to smoke? Bong City back in the day.
Did you remember if it made you sexually excited?
I don't think so. Like the weed that we had back then, though, if you remember, California weed back then just made you like.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I just remember a lot of Colombian weed.
Colombian weed, but we had like sesame in and all that. Like that was the best because it really had the buds back before buds were huge. So
when did you start smoking? When you were 13, 14, you said?
probably 13, 14. I think more around 13.
So here's the big
Because I was growing weed by 14, 15 at my girlfriend's house. Yeah.
Oh,
Her mom let us grow this plant. We had this thing probably get to about 6 foot tall. Somebody ripped the whole thing out and stole it. We're like right when it was growing buds. We're like, damn.
That's a heartbreak.
It was like having a baby stolen because we started it in the house in a clay pot till, yeah. We knew nothing about nothing except for planting it like a regular plant. Yeah, it was crazy.
Kept it in the sun, of course.
We had kept it in the house with a light until, like I said, it was we started in like a 6-inch clay pot. And then once it got outgrowing the pot, then her mom let us put it in the backyard. And we put it actually underneath the umbrella tree so nobody would actually see it. And it got direct light during the day. And that thing grew fast, quick, And her backyard was pretty moist or whatever. She grew a bunch of other stuff. But, that plant was meeting the umbrella tree when it got taken. We think it was the neighbor.
Yeah.
It's the only one who would have known it was there, actually.
When was the first time you had sex?
16-ish, 15, 16-ish. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How was it?
Shitty.
Let me guess. The guy came too
That was
quick.
again one of those, I don't even think he might have came on the carpet, Yeah. Yep. And then I had a few boyfriends at high school or whatever that weren't bad, And then my daughter's baby daddy kind of looked like, what's his face, from Miami Vice, Don Johnson. So, and he was hung like a horse.
That's your boyfriend, you said?
That was my daughter's biological father.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for fucking pretty faces. So
I thought Don Johnson.
bad boys again. The bad boys.
I thought Don Johnson was cool.
Yeah, I thought he was too.
Obviously.
And so was this wannabe lookalike. Yeah, bad boy though, complete.
Was there a time when you were younger that you first started thinking about sex or guys? When did you first start thinking like, when was the first time you touched yourself?
I think I masturbated early though. I remember getting in trouble for masturbating.
Really?
Like I remember my mom walking in going, "What are you doing? Stop that!" But I might have been like 9, 8,
Whoa.
maybe. I think it's natural though. That's what I said. Like I think Americans put a
you know what? You're right.
Put a stigma and a nastiness to it. But like I said, like you see dogs and cats masturbate literally. So
Yeah, right.
I think it's natural.
If it feels good, what's the problem?
I think it's a gift. So again, that's like trying to return a gift.
I
Day
think,
after Christmas. Oh, I don't want this.
You're right. It's not. You're probably so correct. It's natural.
It's very natural.
Very natural.
Europeans are very, you travel.
Yeah.
Europeans, their sexual society is way different than ours.
Mm-hmm.
That's why one of my favorite pictures was taken by this artist who, beautiful blonde statuesque, is naked in the middle of a street in front of a cafe. People are still drinking coffee. Nobody, like, they're just like the silhouette in the background, but nobody's moving at all. Nobody cares. And she's butt naked and she's beautiful. And nobody, you know, if that was shot in New York, LA, Chicago, you'd have gawkers in the back. Good luck trying to get that photo shot like that.
Right. Well, it must be an agenda to put that ugliness on, you know, to top off the brain with, oh, sex is bad. Oh, sex is, don't do this. Oh, we're going to be your masters. Don't do this, don't do that. Oh.
But, you know, as long as, you know, you've been in porn and as long as I've been in porn, that, you know, the bottom line is the Christian Coalition. They have their agenda and they've been going after us forever, you know, and the DOJ. But I think sex is natural. I think it's something that, you know, look at how long it's taken to get weed, which is grown naturally, to make it not a law. How many people are still sitting in prison over marijuana laws? But they've been going after the pornography industry from day one, wanting to shut us down. But before the 1920s, you know, America's went through this weird thing with sex industry anyway, with sex in general, you know, trying to put a label and stopping what's natural, what's given to you, per se, you know. I mean, I get saying, okay, you can't have sex with animals and children and whatnot, of course. But adults, fully growing thinking, you know, you can send an 18-year-old off with a AK-47 to Afghanistan and go kill somebody. But that same 18-year-old can't drink alcohol and can't have sex. Makes no sense to me.
It makes sense if you want to control people.
Absolutely. The agenda. Again.
Control. So really you were fairly mature, because 16 is fairly mature, you know, for start having sex. For women,
yeah.
Fairly mature. You know?
Yeah. We age faster.
Especially back then.
But again, like I was really trying to start, I was really, you know, and I lied to my parents about how old he was, but even at 16, I was dating a 28-year-old, so.
Oh,
and that was crazy.
Good for him.
Because I looked exactly like his ex-wife with the same name, and it was just weird. I think he took the younger version of the first wife.
God bless him. Really? That's a trip, yeah.
Yeah. I think girls dating older guys kind of, you know, as long as that's not a douchebag or whatever, kind of teach you a little bit more. Because I think 16-year-old boys are not ready for the responsibility that goes with sex a lot of times. Because again, you know, like once you dick a woman down, half the time, the average woman is like, oh, I want to get married. That's my baby daddy. And the guy's like, next.
Yeah, right. What did you attend college?
I did.
What'd you study?
Kinesiology. So body mechanics. I was always about the body and physical stuff. You know, I mean, I grew up in a house where we played sports all the time. You know, my brother played football. All of us played softball and baseball and all that. So, and again, I'm in that generation of Title I.
So I'm picturing you right now, since you say you were, you know, doing sports, wearing dolphin shorts in the valley, getting a suntan, right?
Yep. All day.
And the blondish, brownish hair.
Yep.
So was your skin just like glowing under the shorts?
Always golden. Always golden. I never knew I had white skin until I moved to the East Coast. I've never been this white ever in my life.
So
yeah.
I can see. So the guys had a hard time looking at you without.
Right? And I laid naked in my backyard growing up. So, you know, we used to have the San Fernando airport used to circle, you know, and then I found out later that as long as the plane can touch down, wheel down, they can come right back up again. You'd see the same plane circle you about like 500 times while you're laying in the sun nude. Wow. My mom was like, you gotta stop doing that. Again, I don't listen, but I didn't want tan lines. Who knew later that you guys all love tan lines?
I don't. I just like a pretty girl like that, sitting there suntanning naked with a big pussy, big fat pussy, and
pussy hanging out. And yeah, back then there was hair for real.
That's beautiful. Oh yeah, hair. Yeah, but still, it's even fatter because the hair, making it fatter. Yeah. So you did kinesiology. Does that lead to a job or a profession?
I was a personal trainer for, and I still am, but I've been a personal trainer since, I did regular jobs and raised my family and stuff, but I didn't really do anything with it until 97, 96. Became a personal trainer and quit regular 9-to-5 jobs and worked for myself. And then again, one thing led to the other, and I like working for myself. Like independent contractor work is fabulous.
Yeah, it's independent. Yeah, right.
Independence. Nobody tells you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and And I say this all the time. You can't let somebody else write your paycheck for you.
Yeah, it's freedom. If you can do it, it's freedom.
Absolutely.
What jobs did you have right out of, or even during school? What jobs did you have?
Well, the funny part is I worked, my very first job was McDonald's. So this big fat ass was stuffed inside polyester pants. So,
That's cool.
So when you're the girl working that front, and all the cooks are back there going, oh, look at, whoa, me and another Italian girl standing there with big asses. Yeah. Dates all the time out of McDonald's.
So you're Italian?
I'm half Italian, half German. Hence the crazy hair and the big ass. Makes sense now, right?
I don't know for sure. Yeah. So you worked at McDonald's. Where else?
I've been, and actually even before, like just as the internet was breaking, but I used to do corporate travel. Yeah. That was one of my best jobs ever, though, actually.
What's corporate travel? What's that?
Corporate travel. So I booked for companies like Southern California Edison, Redken International, government subcontractors like Teledyne. I booked all the CEOs' travel. Yeah. So when they had conferences, I would put conferences together, send them on there. I booked all the air, hotels, cruises, all that stuff.
Really? Okay.
And then the internet came.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people, only the older generation, our generation would know, and maybe a little bit before us, but before at one point in time, before the internet, you needed like a travel agent.
You had to have a travel agent. Yeah. You used to have to go through a big hotel book,
Yeah.
But the new generation doesn't even know what a phone book is. So, and it was funny because AOL first came on. Rosenbluth Travel, American Airlines, and Royal Caribbean were the only ones on AOL at that time. I went in, had a talk with our salesperson. We put a presentation together. Rosenbluth Travel was a small travel company based out of Minneapolis. We went in, we gave this presentation about how this particular company I work for should get on the internet, because we were way bigger. We were only behind American Express in size. They laughed us out of the room, told us it will never happen, that they will always need a professional to book travel. I was laid off less than a year later. They started closing offices. Crazy.
Well, I guess the proof is in the pudding of Expedia's pudding. When you look at that and you say, whoa, if only I would have wrote that, came up with that. Right?
Yep. Because then even at that time, about a year or two later, my ex-husband used to do, work for telecommunications. And, one of the companies he had done a job for was Cheap Seats. And that guy from the Valley
really
became a multimillionaire and then turned around and was smart enough to sell it before. Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, Expedia, I think, runs most of that stuff, right? Or is it
Expedia? You got Hotwire, and you got what's the other one? Priceline. Those guys are like
Priceline. Yeah.
But again, with my travel background, I already know then how to keep shopping around, because you can buy wholesalers. So if you get through wholesalers, especially right now during the pandemic, there's your free tip on travel.
Say it one more time.
So wholesalers, like there's actually a wholesaler that does cruises are easy to do actually. So they don't want a ship to go out half sold. So you can go to a wholesaler and buy super cheap seats. So one of that, half the particulars is that, you know, if you're pretty flexible on dates, so you can book a cruise sometimes as cheap as $400, $500.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
So you look online under wholesaler tickets? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you can look under wholesalers and all that type of stuff. And those are the things that, you know, Priceline's doing. You know, they buy wholesale seats. That's how sometimes they can offer you those cheap seats like that. Is that, again, the airlines may dump a bunch of tickets right away because they don't want those planes to be flying empty.
So they're not going to lose, but Priceline might lose a little, but they're going to gain in the overall picture.
They gain in the overall because then they're purchasing the seats by, like, you know, I'm buying 100 tickets or whatever because they know they're going to sell them anyway. You know, and it balances out. It's like in the grocery store, you know, they buy a bunch of perishable food. They know they're going to throw some of that perishable food out. But at the end of the day, when everything's priced, you know, yeah.
Yeah, it's a balanced part of business.
We do the same thing in pornography, don't we? You have your DVDs that you know that you paid a lot more for certain talent, and you know you charge a little bit more for that DVD. Well, now that's out of the question, but
yeah, we never charged more for the DVD, but you never knew. You never knew who or what DVD was going to sell. I'm telling you,
right.
it's almost like a ghost in the machine. Like you have no idea how it's going to go. I swear to you.
Right.
Strange.
But you still know you want to make your money back. So if you're going to pay somebody double that what you would somebody else, you know how much volume you need to sell.
Yeah,
per se.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that's the jobs you had pretty much from
Yep,
the travel agent.
And then I did. I worked as a service deli manager actually for a while, and that was a job that I hated. That job so much. I made a lot of money, but I hated the job. Hated the store manager I worked for, the last store manager I worked for, and I just said, you know what, take this job, shove it
up your ass.
And then I became a full-time personal trainer after that. You know, and it's weird because, you know, we're again at that time. It becomes a turning point. You know, we were trained to have to work for somebody else. And I think that when I became a personal trainer, it gave me that confidence to work for myself. So entering into the realm of the adult industry was an easy transition. And when people go, oh, well, how was that?
Oh, let's talk about that. First of all, this is an important question for me. Were you a fan of the business at all?
Absolutely. You know, I mean, I watch porn since, you know, and again, a lot of women watch porn with their boyfriends or their husbands or whatever, you know, and you remember we were all having this discussion even way back when, you know, certain porn is just not made for some women per se, you know, women generated porn, but then it never really sold either. You know, women complain, I want more woman friendly porn. What is women friendly porn to you? Because again, some women actually like to be banged the shit out of. I've seen women like to be slapped. So I don't know how to make you porn that you like. Like, you know, is it like a romance novel? Am I supposed to put some long-haired, you know, gazelle of a guy on the cover? I don't know, you know. So I think that women-only porn didn't really work even for us, even in 2006 and 7. And I see they're trying it again. We'll see.
I mean, people think certain things in their head. They have certain beliefs. A lot of people out there, I hear from the comments that they write. Mm-hmm. But I had a friend tell me, oh yeah, I went out with this girl in the 80s. He said, I went out with this girl and she told me to smack her and smack her and smack her and smack her, choke her. And I woke up in the morning, I saw her, she was all black and blue. She was so happy.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like,
I've met those girls. Like
in 1980, you're like,
yeah.
No way. That's not
crazy.
You didn't do that. Right. And then I know Karina Collins was a very hot porno star girl. I worked with her. She loved, she was a pretty fucking girl, sexy. She loved to get spanked till she was bleeding.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Don't it's not people are people and they want to have their own.
Everybody has their own experiences. You know, type of, you know, again, stimulation. Everybody's stimulation is different, you know. I don't think, again, everybody is assimilated that, all women just want to be pet, like a little, nice little.
You're beautiful. Oh, I wish I could go out with you. I would be the best guy for you because those guys fucking you on camera, especially that guy. He's too rough.
Oh my God. I've heard all that before too.
What?
Oh,
He's a
man.
bastard.
And I have not met too many women who doesn't say, at least spank me on the ass and pull my hair a little bit. Like, don't leave a mark and bruise because, tomorrow morning I still need to look good. But, fire play, I've done all that. I mean, I've literally watched a woman one time. We were at, when they used to do the AVN, they would do the BDSM parties and all this stuff. I watched a woman from Iowa on a flog table I've watched her literally orgasm more than I've ever seen a woman in a porn video before off of being flogged. I was just amazed.
Some people might not know what flog means. Why don't you explain it?
So leather or suede type of spanking device. It's like little feathery straps. So when it hits, it's going to kind of flay around, which I kind of like too myself, as long as it's not hard. It's kind of erotic in a sense. But I literally, it's no penetration. So again, it goes back into the mental aspect of sex. Sex in a great orgasm comes from the mind first. But she was bent over getting flogged and she was so loud I thought the security guards were going to get called into that hotel room. Crazy, and I was amazed. And again, you're 40 some years old learning more about sex and, again, that's what happens in our industry. We actually learn something.
If you pay attention,
you'll
get information that is lifelong.
Absolutely.
An education that's lifelong.
Education and lifelong. Right. And never forget it.
So you were a fan of the business.
Mm-hmm.
So how old were you when the first movie you saw?
Oh, shoot. Well, this is funny because, we all go back into those, Cinemax days of hoping, and you might catch a little Ron Jeremy and Sharon, before it all starts.
Sharon Mitchell?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So probably like, had to be a teenager, Did
it excite you?
You know what? I was intrigued, but again, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's like your mind isn't really understanding what you're really watching per se at that time too. It's kind of a little still over your head, but you're like, oh, so that's what a dick looks like, And you're not in trouble when you don't go, ew, but I mean, I started buying Playgirl magazines when I was 15, 16. So
God bless you.
Uh-huh.
Did you remember, you just brought up two people. Did you have any other people that you liked watching, from?
Well, that's it. Like, Seika. And again, you had Vanessa Del Rio. You had Heather Hunter. Like, yeah, all that.
I'm going to run some names down. Just quick off. I didn't write them down, but, there's some people. Let's go with the male stars first. John Leslie.
Yep.
You remember John Leslie?
Yep.
You liked him?
Sure do. Yeah.
Jamie Gillis?
Yep. Oh my God, cute little guy. He's like,
he's gone. But
when I was cool. I had the boyfriend when I was young, that was older. I actually once sat in a jacuzzi with John Holmes.
Really?
I shit you not.
Wow.
And that big ass thing was floating in the water. He's high as shit, and
he was naked.
He was naked. Yeah.
How big did it look?
It was scary. I will say, I don't even think video did it justice.
Yeah, that's the thing about video. Sometimes it doesn't show the dick right. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes the dicks are different.
And we were doing VHS back when I first started. So.
Oh, you were?
I was doing custom videos.
Oh, okay.
With VHS. Yeah.
So he had a big dick, maybe 12, 13 inches long?
Dude, I think it was even longer than that. Like, I mean, I literally was 16 when I seen it, but...
What'd you say? Oh, my God?
It was freaking scary because it was like...
Did you touch it?
Is that what I think it is?
Did you touch it?
No, I didn't touch it, but I was like, what? You know, because it is bobbing in the water, man. I was like, wow.
That's crazy, huh?
You know, and we didn't refer to it as a baby leg back then, but yeah, I would say that was a baby's leg for sure. Like forearm.
But how did you end up in that jacuzzi?
So the guy that I dated.
That's a little bit naughty. I have to say, something's going on here.
Yeah, it was, you know. But that's what happens when you're dating that older guy again, you know. So he was a studio musician and used to go to all those crazy parties in Laurel Canyon, and I was 16 years old, you know, yeah, crazy.
Was it?
That was the first time I ever saw a Western Oil party, by the way, too. But I didn't stay. I was like, that frightened the shit out of me. I was like, yeah, no, I need to go. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Was it by chance on the Wonderland Lanes?
May
the
or may
party
not.
You went to?
May or may not.
You remember that movie?
You know, yeah. You know what I'm going to say? Remember what you just said about, you know, things that can be, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is not that show.
Where's the Bible? I
That's
swear.
not that show. We're good here. Anyways. But yeah, all right. So,
yeah.
So who else? So how about Paul Thomas? Remember Paul Thomas?
I do. I remember a couple of his things that he did.
Yeah, he stood out, I think, right?
I think so.
Joey Silvera?
Love Joey. But that's what I said. Like, I love Joey even before, you know, yeah. You know, and then he became a great director, too. Yeah. So.
And let's see. Randy West?
Randy is oh, my God. And then he was kind of like the Crush back then, too, right? He was like the Marlboro Man look back then. You know,
he's a cool
and
guy.
Everybody didn't even realize that back then. You know, we loved men with you know, the Tom Selleck look with the big hairy chest and all that. Like, we've really been through it, right?
Right.
Now men have no hair on their chest and they're shaven and.
It's weird, right? Yeah. How about Peter North? You see him in the movies?
I love Peter North, but you know, when I talked to you on the phone, I was like, oh my God, you know. He still looks like a baby.
Yeah, right.
A guy doesn't age.
He's got good genetics.
Right?
How about, did you see me in the movies?
I did see you in the movies. Yeah. But that's what I said. Like, I really swear to God that I thought that I seen that you had a toy out. So that's why I'm like, who was that then if that wasn't your dildo?
Yeah. They asked me to do one, but I didn't, you know.
But all those companies were out to screw guys over anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, they give you a flat fee. If I was going to do it, they'd just give me a flat fee, but I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways. Yeah. So, what the girls? So let's run down some more of the girls because the girls are so important. From the 80s,
they generated the business.
Barbara Dare.
I remember her, but I don't think I've seen a whole lot of her work because, like I said, like I really still like, and again, Nina Hartley. You know, I mean Nita. You know, kind of, you know, besides legendary. Smart woman, you know, made a lot of women. If you didn't really want to follow into anybody else's footsteps outside of the business because she's so smart, you know, Nina was one of them. Mm-hmm. But again, like Christy Canyon was one of the. She always looked so hot. They shot her well a lot. Christy Canyon, for sure, is one of the most successful girls of that era. Yeah. You know? But Ginger Lynn was hot. Ginger, Amber. I used to be pretty tight with her brother, Buck. Oh, wow. You know, they were brother and sister? Buck Adams. He was a good actor. Adams. Yeah. Anyway, he came over one night and he says, can I stay at night, you know? Right? And he left 6 months later. He was the couchy. He was I liked him. He was cool. He was a nice guy. How about Angel Kelly? Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was the name. She was hot. Now I remember because she actually even did magazine covers too, I think. She was hot. Hustler, I think. Yeah, there's a lot of hot girls in those times. And it was different too. So I think that like even for a lot of us, it was intimidating to come in to know like, but I don't look like those type of girls. Like, you know. Because even when I came in... You had the hair, you had the Aquanet. I did have the Aquanet. I could have done it. You know, I was raising kids back then though. But I mean, even by the time I started, you know, being a bodybuilder, I would go into go-sees and they're like, she's too fat. You're like, fat? I'm 16% body fat. Like, are you kidding
Oh,
me?
So tell me, how did you get started? When, how, where?
So in that gym, I would get a lot of guys that came in because muscle is a huge fetish, you know, loyal fans. So I knew guys that came up to me and said, hey, I know this guy, he pays $1,500 to do custom videos, you know, And I'm like, man, I got to stand on a gym floor for 70 hours a week to make $1,000. Are you kidding me? 1,500? What do I got to do? Stomping, trampoline, all that, muscle fetish, pumping, you know, posing. Yeah. So I started doing custom videos when I was like 40. And, you know, one thing began to, you know, because again, I might have trained about 3 or 4 different porn stars back in the time. Nicola, I don't remember what Chris and them with Evil Angel. I don't remember what Nicola's porn name was. British redhead. She's around the same time as Jenna. But I don't remember her porn name.
So she was a popular girl?
She was very popular.
A redhead?
She was redhead British.
That's my time.
Yeah. As I think her husband Chris used to work for John. She was really close with John Stagliano.
I remember the girl. So
I can't remember her porn name, but I trained her.
That was after my time, but I remember. I know the girl you talk about.
Yeah, but it was funny because then if I was leaving the gym, I'm going on vacation or whatever, German guy was like, I want to train her when you leave. And I'm like, no, you're gross. Like, I'll give somebody else to train her. Like, I don't want you staring at her crotch. She's still a woman, you know. She came to the gym not to be the porn girl. So, but yeah, so it just, one thing began, you know, started cultivating from there. And then after I went through a divorce, it was kind of funny because my ex-husband was like, oh, you're going to go back to the strip bar? Well, no, I kind of upped it a notch, but, you know, and then from the custom videos and stuff became, you know, the magazines, and magazines became, you know, and I worked at the Bunny Ranch. So, yeah, it just snowballed.
How much you charge for at the Bunny Ranch?
It definitely had to start at 500, but yeah, you know, upped it a little bit more than that because Dennis got half, but you know, yeah.
And Sunset Thomas was there?
Sunset was there. Sunny Lane, Bridget the Midget. Yeah. Aren't we old now?
I used to, you know, Sunset Thomas came in. You know, people might not like what I'm going to say, but I thought of her as like a B, a super B, like a B, not even anything over a B. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just like a country bumpkin with some suitcase pimp with her boyfriend, husband, whatever the guy was. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and then Michael Nin helped blow her up, right?
Yeah.
With the movies. I don't know why. Maybe they got along good, you know? I don't know why, because I still thought she was a B, right? But that was Dennis's girlfriend from the Bunny Ranch,
for
right?
a couple times, yeah.
Or something like that.
They were together, then they broke up, then they got back together, and then they broke up, and yeah.
Yeah. So did you think she was a girl or a B girl?
I think that, and honestly, and I knew her more from being at the Bunny Ranch, and you know, Dennis had the HBO Cat House, so I knew her more from Cat House than her porn career. You know, whereas Sunny Lane, I knew her from her porn career before she went to the Bunny Ranch. But you know, a lot of the girls had went there anyway, to work. And I think one thing feeds into the other, but you know, people ask me all the time, you know, but Dennis was good at business. So I say all the time, that was like, everybody's like, what was it like to work at the Bunny Ranch? And it's like, it was like living in a strip bar 24/7. Like I killed batteries every day because I just have my CD disc going 24/7. So I didn't have to hear the bar music 24/7, you know, but because of me being a bodybuilder, it was crazy because I had a special diet and they don't let you cook, which I found out later is because they get high or drunk or whatever and burn kitchens down. So the only thing you could use was the microwave. So they referred to that as a hooker cooker. So, my hard boiled eggs and my tuna and all that stuff, I had to have the girls that work at the ranch cook my food for me, which I thought was, I'm 40 years old. I don't need somebody to cook for me, and I'm not a drug addict, but those are the things that you learn. But, I said, it's like going to college, how to work in the adult industry,
So you went to the bunny ranch before you went to porno?
Yep.
Okay, so
I know, and everybody told me I did it backwards.
I don't know. I mean, life is a journey, right?
Right? It's all a journey. So, I didn't, again, I never followed any roadmap before. Why would I do it now?
What's the most you ever made in one day at the bunny ranch?
Ooh, at the bunny ranch? Probably my take. Probably like $5,000.
How exciting was that?
You know what? When they always talk about when you work in the adult industry, it's hard to go back to a regular job. It's because of stuff like that, though. Because you're like, if you were working a regular job, how do you make that much money?
So you had a good experience at the bunny ranch.
It was. That's what, it's like a college education. But it was funny because Dennis once said to me, like, when I said I was going to shoot porn, he was like, and Ronnie was like, oh, I can get you into porn. You would be perfect. That big ass of yours. Da, da, da. Dennis tells me one night, we were at Porn Star Karaoke, actually, and it was like summer. For every reason that you got to shoot porn, I got 100 reasons why not to. And I was like, at first I was like, what? But then when I thought about, the negative stuff, there's so many people in this industry that never made it past the first couple months in this industry, and I guess Dennis maybe didn't know me well enough to know that I'm not a quitter.
Peter North once said, I think there's his words, but he said it on the interview, right? He said, being in porn is like getting on a bus, right? You never know what stop you're going to get off at.
Right?
In those kind of words.
Pretty much.
So you might go all the way.
Some people ride that bus all the way to the end of the line. Yeah. Some people get kicked off the bus.
Right. Right. Yeah, right.
I kind of like that analogy. That's pretty much
I thought it was pretty good. Some just say it's time for me to get off.
Figuratively and literally.
Yeah. I mean, he rode that bus a long time, 34.
Sure did.
35 years. Did you ever work with him?
I did not. Like, that was like, there's a few people that I wish I would have been able to work with before, either that they had called it quits beforehand or.
Who?
I always wanted to work with somebody like Tom Byron and all that type of stuff, and unfortunately with everything that's going on with Ronnie, but I mean, by the time I come along, and I mean, I did some photo stuff that Ronnie used to do with take a picture of your naked body and put a celebrity's face on I did that for him, but it's just weird. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody else that had already retired.
John Doe? Did you like John Doe?
I don't recall him, actually.
How about Randy Spears?
Randy Spears. Oh my gosh. Legend. Oh my God. A legend. Yeah. Now there's masturbate material that we all know that we've watched his stuff over the years too.
Why'd you like him?
You know what? I mean, he had that good look too though. But then again, that goes into the era where, again, your generation, men were beautiful. Like, magazine cover looking guys. I think so. Like you guys all had, like everybody had good chiseled bodies and you always had that boyish look or whatever, but I don't want to be bad, but the guys just don't look the same anymore. And then I know I'm getting older, so some of the new kids that are coming out, I thought Jay Strokes looked young when he came in. I'm like, I saw the boy that won the Pornhub awards, and I looked and I was like, did somebody check his ID? He almost doesn't look old enough to fuck. So, new generation guys don't look like they did in the golden era either, But
what'd you think of Mark Wallace?
I actually, the only thing that I think he did one time that I don't remember if he was the doctor. I don't think he was the doctor. I think it was a nurse. I remember this little scene, and yeah, it was kind of funny. I remember that. And I was like, oh. And then, you know, again, back in that day with the age of just starting to do the role play stuff is so cool, you know. And it's so funny because when fans will contact you and email you or DM you or whatever, and it's like, hey, do you role play? And you're like, I thought that's what we do when we film. Isn't that role play? But okay, yeah, let's play. I could do role play.
So, who was your first scene with? Professional scene.
Herschel was one of the first with Channel 69.
What? Yeah. Herschel Savage.
Herschel Savage.
He's a nice guy.
He's a very nice guy. I saw his episode with you and I was like, oh my God, Herschel. He's so sweet. He's so quiet and so humble. You know, the guy's like a Hall of Famer and all that, you know, and I walked into Urbano's house and was like, you know, but I think, even with even with Dirty Harry, like everybody knows who Dirty Harry is. So I have a lot of fans that still are like, oh my God, I remember that scene, you know, and it's like, or they'll send me the one that we shot in the backyard on the mattress and
oh, yeah?
it's like, yeah, I remember that scene, you know. It's kind of funny when you think about, like, everybody wants to be a porn star too, and they don't realize the weird places that you might make fuck on in a porn set. On a wall. Charlie Mack. You're like, oh, my knees are going to die today, but okay, it's worth it.
So your first scene was with who again?
I think, the very first scene I ever did was the one that I said.
Herschel Savage, you said.
He's one of the first scenes, yeah. Because the very first scene that I shot was, and I think the guy had shot a couple different scenes before, but the first scene I did wound up being a boy, girl, boy scene. And then a second scene I did with the Sawzall.
Who?
A Sawzall. I fucked a Sawzall.
What's that?
It's a tool. That's what I said before the fuck toys came out.
Oh.
So a Sawzall is like a drill.
Oh, yeah.
So he put a dildo on the Sawzall.
Okay. I thought that's what you said.
Nope.
I was like, come on.
It's a porn industry. And that was way before any of those fuck tools came out, you know. That was crazy too, by the way. I was like, I really can't believe I'm about to fuck a house tool or whatever, but.
You have a bra on?
Do I?
Yeah, you have a bra.
Yeah.
Because it looks like your tits are kind of big right there.
They are big.
Can we just see the tip, not the nipples, but just the cleavage? No nipples, yeah.
No nipples.
A little more. Look at that. Those look beautiful. Those are great, yeah.
He's like, do you have a bra? And I'm like, huh? That's like the Sawzall question, huh?
Yeah, we got to make sure the bra is there, you know what I mean?
Right.
So those
we
are cool.
We just went into X-rated right off the bat.
Do it one more time for me. Just go like this. Look at the camera. Oh, that's perfect. All right. Thank you. That's a long-ass tongue. Whoa, go turn sideways. Whoa.
And you ask why I like blowjobs.
Yeah, the guy loved that long tongue.
Absolutely.
I like a girl with a long tongue so you kiss it so you can wrap your tongue around each other, you know?
Right?
Yeah, I love kissing.
Me too, actually.
Yeah.
And it's a lost art too. A lot of people don't kiss anymore. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's
but
I
people
talk
are
about
just
all the
not.
time,
But people just don't. Again, maybe it goes into that selfish thing. People are only about their own. I want to get off and go.
So back to the Herschel scenes. How'd that go? How was it?
Oh my God, it was great.
Yeah?
And then I had Herschel has a huge cum load, which I forgot about too. You know, because it had been years that I had seen a Herschel movie, and you know we fucked on the sofa. So we fucked on the sofa in multiple positions, and down on the floor. He stood up over the top and gave me that whole facial. Yeah. That I have that picture. I do have that picture.
How much they pay you?
I don't want to say because Channel 69.
Low budget.
Low balls. But you know that, I mean, but there are sometimes that, you know, we would take certain things just because, like I shot for DJ Yella, and you don't even want to know what he paid because that
I
was
do.
terrible.
I do want to know. Come on.
It was bad.
200?
So, no, it was 3.
3.
But I got a call in the last minute. D-Wise calls me up. It's like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, is that my phone? So he's like, please, Summer, you know, whatever girl was supposed to shoot, couldn't shoot. Can you meet me over at Devlin's house, right? And he's like, please do the scene for me. And I was like, no way. For 300, you must be out of your mind. And then he was like, for DJ Yella, and I'm like, I'm getting dressed. I'll be on my way. Because again, at the same time, you know, when you grow up and you're like, you know, NWA, you know, an icon. All right, go ahead. You know,
Fuck it. Yeah.
I won't even say it, but I would have probably even would have done it for free maybe at that point, you know, because just to say, you know, there's not very many people could say I shot porn for DJ Yella.
How was DJ Yella? Was he a cool dude?
He's a very cool dude, you know. But again, I won't really throw the guy under the bus, but the guy had a crush on me, and I had filmed with him before, but then being intimidated by DJ Yella, Devlin had to give him a blue pill, take him outside, talk to him a little bit, combat. We'd start to shoot, and then he gets soft again. We had 2 people who kept trying to get him a blowjob, and I'm giving him a blowjob till my mouth is about to fall off. And he was just so nervous, that intimidated by this, you know, icon that you grow up worshiping or whatever, that it took a while. And we're like, now I'm thinking to myself, you know, this is what happens on $300 shoots. That, you know, it's going to take you all day to shoot instead of just being able to bang out a scene or whatever. But I think it, you know, all in all, he got a good scene out of it, you know, and he was cool, like DJ Yella, and he had, I think, a nephew or something with him shooting. It was kind of cool. And again, you know, not many people are going to be able to turn around and say they shot. And of course, he doesn't have his porn website up anymore, but.
Have you done, how many DPs have you done?
Maybe about, I would probably say somewhere in the area, maybe 5, 6.
Did you like it?
DPs are okay. You know, just depends on who the performers are, you know. And again, people don't understand it takes a lot of coordination to get that done because, you know.
Coordination from the actors or from you?
Coordination from the actors, because you can't do a whole lot of moving as a female when you're getting DP'd, like, you know, and you are at the mercy of somebody else. So I am a control freak per se. So yeah, when you're in a complete surrender position, you are kind of out of your norm. It's a little different. So, I mean, I think that those, like, even like with gangbangs are challenging, but, you know, and again, it goes into you find out a little bit more about yourself, about how I'm not a submissive person by any stretch of the imagination. You must become a lot submissive when there is a dick in 2 different holes. But, you know.
How'd you like it?
I like, you know, like I said, like I've had a couple times where it's like, oh, damn. You know?
Feels good? I mean, that's what I mean.
Yeah. You know, and you definitely know you're going to come. But I think the worst part of it is I've never really particularly cared for lube, but you have to. You know, you don't have a choice. You know, and I don't like to be bodies covered in lube. You're like, yeah, I need
Sticky.
a shower.
Do you prefer 3 ways, 4 ways, 1 way, just boy, girl?
You know, I mean, I like intimacy, so I like boy, girl stuff more, but I don't mind actually, like, I like girl, boy, girl too, you know.
Boy, girl, boy? I mean, boy, girl, girl?
A girl, boy. Yeah.
Girl, boy.
Girl, boy, girl.
We're talking
Girl, boy.
Girl, boy.
People are like, what? Huh?
Yeah, because here's the terminology: a BBG or a BGG, boy, girl, or a boy, girl. So with
Right.
two guys on a girl,
Two guys
two
on a
girls
girl.
and a guy, or a BGA or a BBGA.
Right.
So it's A is
You know, the
anal.
first time when you come into the industry and, we had, again, Sharon Mitchell had, AIM, they gave you the porn 101. Now these poor kids have no idea what, they're coming into. So I can't even imagine, because at least, when you go to fill out an application, what are your do's and don'ts? They just check everything and they don't know what they got into. And then they're like, what?
But on one hand, Sharon Mitchell's outside source, so she really could taint people before they started, because she's just a test clinic.
Right.
So if some agent or some suitcase guy, pimp, or whatever you want to call somebody, a finder, finds a girl, invests money into her,
Right.
they go to see Sharon Mitchell, and now she scared them, that could be kind of conflictual.
Right.
But anyways, just let somebody know that things get kind of wild in the business.
Well, and that's, again, this business is not for everybody.
But if you get in the business, you should know what the hell you're doing. I mean,
I would hope so, but it doesn't seem to be the new days. Like, everybody just jumps in now because, again, they're shooting on these. There's a big difference between a camera and a cell phone too. But
Did you have an agent when you started?
you want to know my first agent?
Yeah.
God rest his soul. He just passed away. Jim South
Oh, that's
was my very first agent.
that's like my, second dad.
Love that man. Love that man. He was like my grandfather when I first walked in. It was like summer.
Jim South, World Modeling. He was the best.
The sweetest man you've ever meet. Like, in an industry that is not known for a lot of nice people, and definitely one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
The best. So nice. Of
And
course.
so soft spoken. Okay, Summer, I need you to send me a picture with no clothes on. You just said it so sweet. I was like, okay. And then I met you through Rob Spallone.
Me?
When Rob,
Oh, yeah?
Rob, you booked me through Rob.
Oh, so he brought you to my office?
Yep.
Okay.
No. Michaels came to see me at Rob Spallone's office.
Shawn Michaels? Oh,
Yep.
he did something for me?
Yeah, because that was the very first film I shot. He did the directing or whatever on.
So you talked earlier about Jay Strokes fucking you good, but out of all the scenes you've done, which is the hottest one?
Well, actually, I will say I shot with Jenner. I've shot with Jenner a couple times.
Who?
Jenner, young white kid, blue eyes, kind of cute. I can't remember what his wife's name is, but she used to take a ball bat up the ass. I was like, oh, that's a little too much for me, but but I think I shot with Jim Powers, and the kid was like pretty good. Like, I think I like, but I think maybe one of the hottest, nastiest ones I probably did was maybe the one with Charlie Mack. Because like, we were all over the place with that, but working with Charlie too, for anal or whatever, he's probably one of the better guys as far as it goes on warming up, where people don't realize we warm up before we shoot, which is, again, another bad thing about amateurs. They don't know that we do that, which is probably how I got injured. But yeah, we warm up. Nobody wants to just go in on film and just go ahead and plunge right into somebody's ass without help.
I always thought Charlie was a great asset. I loved him working for my company. He was great.
He did a lot for you too.
A lot of it. He probably did him and Mark did the most work. But I always thought Charlie, was great. Yeah. So that makes sense.
And that little face of his.
He's a cool guy.
And he was a gentleman, by the way, because it was like, I think we shot a couple takes for me to get in and out of this SUV or whatever, and I got short legs, so.
Yeah. One of the coolest guys. Always a gentleman, always cool. Very,
Yeah.
Always. He was great. He's great. I mean, if you have a roster of guys that you always call upon to work for your company, you know, you hope that you got a guy as cool as Charlie Mack and as good as Charlie Mack coming to work for you.
And dependable.
Yeah, dependable, reliable, all of it. Yeah.
He was on time, like, you know, actually, you know, and again, porn time. A lot of times you don't see that. Well,
let me give you a little example of porn time. Peter North, my boy, you know what I mean, would come to work
3 o'clock,
2 to 4 hours late. If you're lucky. Anyways, but I mean, that's Peter North. How are you gonna fuck with Peter North?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Say, hey, by the way,
I mean, you know, right?
We're not shooting now. Go ahead.
Do you have any bad experiences besides this amateur gangbang you're talking about?
I mean, there are times that the stalkers and all that stuff that people don't warn you about that, you know, and I've known girls that tell you about it, but until you actually experience it and have to deal with it, you don't think it's that bad or whatever. I can handle that.
You had a stalker.
I've had numerous, you know, I mean, I've had where they went to Facebook and literally, you know, and, you know, you might have an idea maybe once in a while on this one or that one or whatever, but this individual went to Facebook and contacted all my family members and sent them pictures of the gangbangs and, you know, hey, she fucks, and of course they use the N-word, but, you know, it's like, wow, we're really going there, you know. I was lucky. I mean, I have family that they all know what I do. We just don't discuss it. It's not something we talk about at the dinner table. But again, if I was a garbage man, we would talk garbage, you know, but, and again, it goes back into the same thing. You're watching porn, but yet you want to vilify us later. It's crazy.
I mean, people seem really, hateful these days. They seem a lot more hateful and envious.
And they feel like if they don't get something that they want, you know, then they're going to throw a fit.
You see it on Instagram, Twitter. You see so much negativity. It's poison, pure poison. You know?
You whore. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Call me a paid whore, but
you got me. All right. You're smart. You're so smart. Gee. How about on the set? With an actor or actress or director, did you have any bad experiences?
I don't really think I've ever had, you know, bad experiences on set. I think we still deal with, even amongst ourselves, we deal with females that are jealous of other females. So I know, you know, the Black Ice orgy, there was a couple girls on there that didn't particularly care for me because, again, I was in a personal relationship with an actor at the time that they liked. That becomes part of the political crazy jealous stuff. And I'm not jealous, like, you know, this is business, but
so not really. Not really, right?
So she had a problem with me. I didn't have a problem with her, but
did you get a fight?
No. But I mean, you know how, like, you know, the over the top, let me see if I can be the scene stiller and all that. Yeah, okay, cool. I don't care. I'm getting paid the same. Right? At one point, there's only so much you can do. You know, again, it goes, you know, I'm only responsible for myself. I came and did a job and try to be the best I can be in my performance. But she wants to be a scene stiller, go for it.
Right. So not really. Just that doesn't sound like, you know, like there's some crazy. Major.
Oh yeah, no, I've you know, I mean, I've heard some really bad stories before about.
What's the craziest story you ever heard?
I think I've heard about it, like a full-on punch fight type of thing, you know. But I mean, I can go back into saying, like, I have met people before that you go, I've had near experiences that people tell you, you know, get out of the house because of this guy. The guy was kind of weird, and he wanted to do a shoot. Calls me to this house. And I'm there, and it's just like the house smells like garbage, like complete garbage. he takes out the garbage and all this stuff, and he's waiting for his cameraman. I'm waiting, and there's no camera guy. And then all of a sudden he's, well, let me take a few pictures of you. And it's with some crazy like camera. And I'm like, so D-Wise had actually called me then too. And he was like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm at this guy's house. He goes, get out of there. The guy is whatever. He had gave some girl chlamydia a week or two before that. And I was like, ooh, shoot, So talk about feeling like I escaped something. Fast forward about a year later, or 2 years later or so, the guy had a bad reputation. He went into a warehouse where he had been living with some other guy too that was staying in one of the porn warehouses. This was his best friend, and he killed him with a samurai sword. So he's out on the loose. Cops are looking for him. It's all over the news. They get the guy. He's finally like up in Topanga Canyon, up on a cliff. Cops get there. They go to take him into custody, and he jumps off the cliff. And I'm like, that's the weirdo with the bare feet. And, but you go, wow, if it wasn't for D-Wise, who knows what, Wow. So when you meet crazy people.
I remember that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2008, 2009, right?
Yeah. Because he had just played Barack Obama in the Nayland Palin thing or whatever.
What was his name?
I don't even remember. I remember, I can distinctly, when I think about that story, I can remember the smell of that house as soon as I say that. But yeah, just weird. It's weird what you, encounter in this business too. Not everybody is sane.
Yeah. I mean, a samurai sword to your best friend, that's pretty scary.
How do you do that?
Yeah, that's insane. What is your favorite company to work for?
You already know though that you don't even have to wink at me because you built my career, especially in the urban community, And I hate to say this because I'm a Laker fan, but there was a movie that you did that I gave my copy to an NBA player who at that time played for San Antonio, and they beat the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs, and then they went on to win, and they said that DVD was on their bus. And
really?
He said that was his lucky DVD, and I'm like,
which one was that?
I believe that's Desperate Mothers.
Desperate Mothers, Wives Number 8 helped win the championship. That is great news.
Unless you're a Laker fan.
Yeah, right.
But it was kind of cool, though. Like, I was like, hey, I'm glad you guys like the DVD.
Well, just personally speaking for them, because that was a personal situation. So that's,
right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. But there was a lot of people that appreciated my company. Have you heard a lot of people say, oh, yeah, we love Evasive Angles?
My fans love all those movies, and they still come back and say, oh, this is my favorite, or, and again, even with Bubble Butt, that the Dirty Harry scenes and all that type of stuff.
So, Bubble Butt Inc.
Right. Yeah. So, no, and I'm, again, the All-Star issue, everybody's like, oh my God,
Big Butt All-Stars.
Yeah.
That was
That was really cool. Because I think when you finally somebody hit me up and it was like, oh my gosh, we're going to do this for you. And I was like, okay.
They got to do what for you? Do the Big Butt All-Star?
That you did the All-Star issue for me. I was like, yeah.
She made it to the Big Butt All-Stars.
I made you a lot of money then, evidently.
Well, what happened was I thought about it one day. I was thinking, if I have a girl that I love to watch, because I'm a porn fan. Mm-hmm. And if I love a girl, when you see somebody fucking her, sometimes you can appreciate it and sometimes you can't. Sometimes the shots are perfect. Sometimes the guy opens up perfectly. Sometimes he doesn't. And sometimes you don't like that guy, but you still love that girl.
Right.
So sometimes you're looking for the ultimate shot of that girl getting fucked or sucking a dick. And even you could go through 20 or 30 movies and still not find it. But if you have a movie that's only her and all full-length scenes, you have a very good chance of finding
that what you want.
That shot that you're going to sit there and jack off to for hours.
Right?
So that's why I came up with Big Butt All-Stars. I had these great girls that, had big butts. I said, why don't, this is what I'd want. If only I could get some of these girls that I like.
Right.
And see them, I could just jack off to them.
All at one time.
Yeah. Anyway.
And again, porn fans are loyal. Like they really are, So when they have their favorites and whatnot,
Yeah.
That's always great.
Believe me, I can still think of a few girls I like jacking off to, and that's about it. You know what I mean? I'm loyal.
Yay. We're back to the loyalty again. I like loyal men.
Is there any other companies that you really liked working for?
You know what? I mean, like, again, growing up, looking at Hustler magazine and stuff like that, it was an honor to even shoot for Hustler, which is funny because, again, a lot of people don't know is, with me coming in, it was harder to shoot for a lot of different companies because even when I first came in, I was a bodybuilder, a lot of them would either go, oh, she was fat, or because I have the scars. I'm probably one of the only porn stars that actually can say I've been burned, like, because it's a burn scar, and still make a career out of it when companies would go in on go-sees and go, well, she's got too many scars. It's like, okay, well, all right. Well, you're lost because I still have a fan base. So, no doesn't necessarily close the door for people, by the way.
And I don't want to not let people know this, but you have an OnlyFans?
I do have an OnlyFans. Yep.
Under
Stunning Summer.
Stunning Summer.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody know that?
Yep.
OnlyFans for Stunning Summer.
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
So,
and evidently now on Instagram, you can't refer to that either anymore. So I guess it's just a O-fans.
Really?
It's getting crazy.
Yeah, it's complete control.
And then my
right?
I had a Twitter account got deleted last week or so. Like, censorship in America is here. Mm-hmm. Still.
Let me ask you a question. So from when you first started the business, right, until now, have you changed sexually? How do you view sex now compared to then? And do you enjoy it as much?
I still enjoy sex. I mean, I don't want to be where I'm 90 years old and go, oh, I don't like doing that no more or whatever. But, our bodies do change. So it's a matter of just working with what your body does in the change. I'm fortunate enough not to have done the crazy stuff going through menopause, but estrogen levels and stuff change, but my pussy still gets wet. So that's all I need to know.
So it's pretty much the same?
It's still the same. She still gets wet. She still squirts. So
you're still excited?
I'm always excited.
So you don't see sex different now? It's still the same?
I will say this, and I remember, Rebecca Love and I once had a conversation, and, when you lived out your fantasy, and, you have a new boyfriend or whatever, and you want to make sure that their fantasies are fulfilled. I guess when we have been in the business for 20 some odd years and we've had most of our fantasies fulfilled, then you go, and now I feel like Santa and I'm filling somebody else's fantasies. But, but at the same time, it's also kind of cool to have experience with somebody who's never had some of those things done, So it's almost like you're revisiting a fantasy, I think. I mean, I would never want to look at it like, okay, I've been there, done that. Don't want to ever do that again.
Is there any fantasies you have not fulfilled?
I really can't think of it. So it's so funny when porn fans go, well, what's your fantasy? Well, everybody wants to bang my ovaries until they're like out of my head. But I like romantic, crazy sex. Like I like, get the champagne out, get the candles going, get the hot bubble bath, and a blowjob in a bubble bath is kind of amazing. So, I'm all about, give me something I don't get on a porn set, because again, but I would not want to take that away from a guy either to say, okay, well, I've been there, done that. So I don't want to have rough sex. No, pull my hair, spank my ass. We're good. Light flogging. Don't leave a bruise.
Okay. This is a wild question. Please be candid and honest, I ask this question to most of the people.
Okay.
Since you were a stoner, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What is your drug of choice, if you do have one, for wild, ultimate sex?
Well, I mean, since I don't really do like drugs per se, but I mean, the stuff that I would do when I was really getting high and all that stuff like that, man, coke all day. But again, I'm an 80s kid, so
good coke is...
My ex-husband was in a rock band. Does that say something for you? You know,
a lot of coke?
We did that whole Sunset Strip stuff. Yeah.
Was the coke better in the 80s or the 90s or the thousands?
I didn't really do coke in the 90s. 2000s, I've had some. I would say the 80s. Yeah.
So how did it make you feel? Did it get you excited? You want to have sex, or it just was a talkative drug for you? But we're talking about, it's supposed to be sex.
Back in the day, like, you know, it could make you talkative, so you got to be careful about that. Put a dick in her mouth or whatever and shut her up. But, you know, I think you just feel good. Like you had great sex. Like you really did have great sex. So that's what I said. Like, I think coke was always that thing.
You orgasm harder?
You know what? The one thing about coke with men, they get coke weenie. So you got to be careful about not overdoing it either. Yeah. Otherwise, then you're sitting there till the mouth goes numb.
I remember talking to Tony Montana, was a performer.
Right.
Right. He said once he did so much cocaine, right? Whatever. And when he did his cum shot on a girl,
it tastes like cum?
She got numb, her whole face.
Oh, shit.
Some shit like that, right?
Because I know, like, you know, even you go back, I want to do coke off your nipples and stuff. And you're like, well, did you just bite my... Like, don't bite. Snorting and biting are two different things. What are you doing?
Here's a wild question. Have you ever had sex with a fan?
Yep.
Woo! All right. Disclose, please.
I actually have a few NBA and NFL football fans, but yeah, there's a guy in the NFL that I still see that... Yeah. And I still get letters from 25-year-old NFL football players, and I'm in my 50s. Thank you very much. Right. That might be your thank you, too.
Well, we're happy to have you work for us. You know, you always did a great job, and you're always so sweet.
Much appreciative.
I
always love working for your company, so.
Always.
Get the call, hey, Summer, what are you doing on Thursday?
Yeah. I was always happy to see you because you're always just, you know, had a good vibe. And sometimes people would come, I'd say, I just turn my head and walk, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if I saw you, I said hello, you know.
I appreciate it. As I said, the last time I seen you was literally in Times Square, and I was shooting with the amateur in New York. And we were walking in Times Square, and he's the one that spotted you. It was like, oh, my God, that's TTBoy. And I was like, I know TTBoy. How did you pick him out in the middle of Times Square, you know?
On a busy day.
On a very busy day. It was crazy. I remember that day. That's why I was like, I didn't even see you until he was like, I had to try to run and catch up to him. I was like, damn.
Right, I was like...
It is, TG.
I was like, who's this talking to me, right? And then it clicked in.
And then I had dark hair, though, too. Because when I moved to D.C., I dyed my hair dark. Because my, you know, humidity is way different, you know, and I look like a cue ball half the time. So
that's what was different because it took me a second to recognize you. And I'm like, who's talking? You know?
Yeah, I dyed it dark and it was crazy. I'll never do that again. But
that's kind of out of all the places, I just happen to be in Times Square. You have to be in Times Square. We run each other. That's crazy, right?
Right.
Was that about 10? That's about, 10 or 11, right?
Yep. I think 20 or 209 or 210. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah.
You're looking at me like...
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, you've only seen me naked a million times and you can't even, you know.
Right. I was like,
but then it goes into, you know, when people see you on the street and go, you look so much different with your clothes on. Yeah, imagine that.
Right. And sometimes you get hit because you think you're a ghost in the streets and all of a sudden you're spotted. You're like, what the fuck?
People ask me all the time, like, what's it like to be in D.C.? You know, do people recognize you? Yeah, and it can be creepy because, you know, you don't know if you need to have your head on a swivel because you're just a female. Or, you know, I've had guys stand by the metro stop and you go to ride a metro train and you're like, oh, shoot. You know, if you're a porn fan, please just, you know, be chill about it. But
yeah. Well, I met a lot of nice people.
Most of them are. Most of them are very sweet.
Nice people, you know.
Like we just had, actually there's a guy named Jimmy Drama. It's been around forever, just passed away. And it's like everybody in this industry knows who he is. That, you know, he's always been very kind, very sweet, very respectful, goes to all the conventions and, you know.
A fan.
Fan. And he's from the DC area actually too. So it was like, wow. You know, I saw one of the other girls had posted it the other day that he had passed away. And I was like, wow, I literally think he just emailed or texted me a couple months ago. So, you know.
This year has been a little strange. A lot of...
I hope 2021 is nowhere near 2020.
Yeah, right? Yeah, what do you think of 2020 actually?
It's been garbage. Like, you know, and it's funny because I had a hip replacement in 2019. And I thought, okay, well, 2020 I'll make up for 2019. It was like, well, now 2021, can I make up for 2019 and 2020? High year.
I mean, I want to finish this up first, but I want to ask about that, you know, about the COVID. What do you think of this COVID in general? And then now also on that question, there's a new hybrid that just emerging out of...
That scares me too now, out of UK.
And Nigeria.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this?
And France already has a case, so I've seen that, you know. So does it tell us that, so this new, the vaccine, because my son's a fireman, so he just got the vaccine himself. Is this vaccine going to work for the super hybrid, or now are we back to square one?
I mean, does it scare the fuck out of you? How does it make you feel?
I don't want to keep going through what we're going through, you know. And at some point, you know, no matter what government, even the UK, they're going to run out of money. And it goes, but, you know, are we going to start working for rocks again? And we're going to, you know, we'll go back to the caveman days and I'll swap you my rock for your arrowhead. And I can make fire and you can kill the meat. You know, is that where we're going? But again, if you're not self-reliant, if you've been reliant on other people to write your paycheck, because again, the porn industry, we've done okay for ourselves during the pandemic. I've made money on the internet. April, May, and June was the highest amount of money I've made with my own production stuff. And bottom line is, I have not even been able to shoot because I had to have the hip replacement. So when people would say like, well, what's it like to be in quarantine? Dude, I was in quarantine in 2019 because I couldn't hardly do anything with the hip. Now I missed a couple PT sessions still, and then we had COVID. So I'm like, damn. But I learned how to make money on the internet. You know.
I heard, you know,
A bird told you.
I heard a bird told me, a few birds told me that this pandemic
has been great for the porn industry.
Has actually made a lot of girls.
Yep.
Probably some guys, but a lot of girls, a lot of money on OnlyFans.
But you know, the funny part is, well, not even just OnlyFans, like the mini vids, clips for sale is, you know, maybe because they're the old dogs in the industry and the clip stuff not doing as well as mini vids or whatever. But, and even God forbid, you know, I remember the day Charlie Biggs told me when all the tube site come out.
Who?
Charlie Biggs.
Charlie Biggs. Are you serious?
Old school guy. Because, you know, God rest his soul, he had passed away a couple years ago too. But he had told me years ago when the tube sites came out, he said, this is going to be the death of the porn industry summer. And I still think only because of the 2257 stuff, that's the reason why they're offering us money on Pornhub now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason.
I know why.
Yeah, you know why. Because they're going to be liable for a lot of damages. Anyways, so Charlie Biggs.
Yep.
I love Charlie Biggs.
Me too. Me too.
Charlie Biggs.
And again, he's another guy who, you know, I would go shoot stupid stuff for him, you know.
For nothing.
For $300 for a blowjob scene.
I worked for Charlie Biggs for $125 or $150 happily back in the day.
Yep.
But I love Charlie.
Yep. Him in that trailer.
I know.
And actually we even did the open in Trailer Park moms at his place.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was his trailer. We shot that in. You didn't know that?
No, because if I would have known that, I would have said hi to him.
Now you're gonna laugh. Is those pair of shorts that we cut? Like I cut those shorts, and Jacob's like, no, they're not short enough. So he cuts them even shorter on me. And when we went to the porn house to shoot, I left all my clothes at Charlie's. Well, when I get back to Charlie's not there. I can't get my clothes. I had to go home in them shorts. I pull into my apartment complex and my apartment manager's husband walks out at the same time. I got those shorts on and I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus.
Come on. It's not like you weren't running around those dolphin shorts.
Oh, dude, those shorts in that video, I actually sold to a fan. But
really?
Yeah, I sure did.
Cool. So, and you've been in this business 14 years. So has it lived up to your expectations, surpassed it, or how do you feel?
You know, it's like anything else. It's up and down, you know. But I know people who play in the NFL. They love it one day and hate it the next, you know. So I think it's not any different for this company, you know, our industry. You know, for the most part, I've had a great time. I've met a lot of amazing people. But then there are some people who want to make this a lifestyle and not a business. I'm not about the lifestyle. Like, I have a real life outside of this. But, you know, again, when we were saying Jocelyn Stone, I love this girl to death. Met her at almost day one in this industry. You know, Anita Cannibal, I saw her at Urban X last year. You know, and it's like, oh my God, one of the first girls I ever met on this industry too. So, you know, some of us are still around.
Well, Jocelyn Stone, she's a hell of a cool girl.
She's a hella cool girl.
Hella.
And she's real. She keeps it real. And, you know, that's the best part I love about her. She's, you know, humble, no pretense to her. You know, because, you know, you've met enough girls in this industry that they think their shit don't stink. And
yeah.
I got the best pussy ever.
I've seen girls come in the business, and I've been around obviously a long time, since the 80s. I've seen girls come around, the second or third shoot, they're going to direct you and tell you how to run your operation.
Right?
Like, okay.
Right.
Right. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. So, but this is the last question, the big one.
Ooh, for the $100,000 question.
It was the $60,000 show. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Right. Out of all this time you've been in the business, can you describe your experience in just 2 words?
Let's work.
Let's work?
Let's work.
That's an original one.
Could have said do work, but no, let's work, you know. I mean, it's been fun. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I would say this is that when we were saying why you got into this business and people go all kinds of stuff. And it's like, of course it's the money, you know, but I also referred to it as like how baseball players are. You know, we're all going to fuck, but now I get to be paid to do something I love to do and actually created a brand out of it, you know. And again, it's fulfilling for me for the fact that, you know, and I could have been a bitch and said stunning summer, by the way, when you said 2 words, but nobody gets to tell you what to do. You get to, you know, you create your own brand. If you're smart, you've created a brand. You didn't come in here and shoot just to go, oh, wait, I need to pay my rent today. Oh, I think I'll go suck a dick today, you know. And we've seen that too, by the way. And then, hey, I'm a nurse now. Can you please take my scene down?
Yeah, all kinds of ideas behind those takedowns. For me, porno's a dream too. Just I was lucky to be part of it, and it sounds like you're happy to be part of it too.
Yep.
So I lied. There's 2 more questions. Right? Here's the question. Would you? Because I see this being the future. Okay? Mm-hmm. And there's a couple companies. You know, there's that one company that has Sophia the robot. Have you seen Sophia? Uh-huh. She was asked questions from Tony Robbins.
Okay.
Remember? He did an interview with her, and she is sharp as hell now. 4 years ago, she wasn't as sharp, but now she's dangerous.
Okay.
So have you seen that interview with Tony Robbins? It'll blow your mind. So the future, in my opinion, 20 to 30 years from now, will be sex robots that are just as good or better because you can make the dick bigger, make it hotter, or the pussy bigger, fatter, tighter, whatever.
Right.
Would you fuck
A
robot on camera?
Well, I guess, yeah, because I've already fucked a fuck machine, which is basically a cyborg to it. So why not? But would I prefer a warm body? Yeah. Like,
it's going to be warm.
Because there's still nothing better. Really?
It's going to be a warm body.
So
and
it's going to be one of those cyborg kind of guys where, yeah.
It's going to kiss you. It's going to do everything.
He eats pussy.
It's not.
Wait, a man that actually follows directions. How about that? Okay.
It's not just, no, this, by then it's going to be realistic.
Yeah.
It's going to have a 15-inch dick if you wanted that size, of that brand, right, or that model. It's going to kiss you. It's going to lick your pussy better than you ever had your pussy licked. 20, 30 years from now, I'm thinking.
As long as he all of a sudden doesn't get stuck down there and goes, and they have a glitch, and it's like, wait, I can't breathe. Yeah. That would be the downfall.
I'd be happy to come back to work.
Right?
So
and again, you had to work with a female that doesn't backtalk.
Yeah. No, I mean, I liked almost 99% of all the girls I worked with.
Right?
They're always nice. But what celebrity, this is the last one. What celebrity would you, do you fantasize or before fantasize that you would want to have sex with?
I'd fuck Bradley Cooper in a heartbeat.
He's the guy?
He would be the guy.
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. And he's an Eagle fan, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He's a
Eagles.
Oh, Eagles. Okay, Philly.
Yeah.
Philly Eagles.
Philly. That's my adopted team. I'm really a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, but I know a lot of people from the Eagles, so they've been a
I lied again.
Side piece.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby.
Okay. So you have it here, TTBoy TV. We out. Thank you so much. Stunning summer. Nice to see you.
Pleasure is all mine. Literally.
Long time no see. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks again.